Was this the moment that will cost the Blues a spot in September? The infamous chicken wing tackle has left Carlton without their fearless captain in a match that could well define their season.
Side steps, still got it, and goes bang, and did they need it?
Make no mistake, this is a must-win match for the Blues.
And he puts the nail in the coffin. The Blues are back.
Tonight, they take on the Dogs, who have had an equally disappointing year.
What we've also got to do is find people who just dig into the fight.
What about that for a manoeuvre? Oh, terrific goal! There's a glimpse into the future for the Bulldogs.
After their capitulation to Hawthorn, Brendan McCartney is looking for the Dogs to get some bite back into their game.
Dalhouse, heart of the seas, nailed the goal. Inspiring stuff for the Bulldogs.
It's Carlton and the Western Bulldogs looking to breathe some life back into their seasons.
Oh, no! This will be a lifter.
This is Saturday Night Footy. Oh yes, a big opportunity for the Blues to stay in touch with the top 8 teams competing for that final spot as they make their way out onto Etihad. This is the home game here tonight for the Western Bulldogs. Some late changes. Mitch Robertson, if you've just joined us, is out of the side. You can see the ins. 3 first gamers. Fraser Dale, Casbolt there, of course, and Tom Bell as well. The sub is the first gamer, Fraser Dale, as we take a look at the lineup for the Western Bulldogs. Multiple changes for them, but some really good ins. Gian Syracuse comes back, Grant, Vespremi, and they'll be very happy getting a few of those experienced players back into the side, Richo. We see the Dogs, by the way, the 150th match that they've played at Etihad, the second most of any team in the competition.
I'm expecting them to come out pretty hard early. They were very ordinary last week against Hawthorn, got smashed around those stoppages and contested ball. They have to come out ready to play tonight.
Saturday night football. The skipper tonight is this man here, Mark Murphy. Murphy, in the absence of Chris Judd, of course, will toss the coin. The umpires tonight, Shane Stewart, Stuart Wen and Nick Foote. Of course, Boydie, the captain for the Western Bulldogs, Matthew Boyd. As they shake hands in the middle, toss the coin. Doesn't really matter too much whether you win the toss here, does it?
Roof closed and clearly no win, no real favoured end. Almost a ceremonial thing here as Mark Murphy will head to the Coventry end of the Etihad Stadium. Mark Murphy, so much reliance on him tonight, Richo, with the absence of course, Chris Judd. They've got Cade Simpson out of the side as well. And the rest of their midfielders don't break the lines the way Murphy does. So even though it's his second game back, he has to play well.
Cameron Ling is down on the bench. We also know that Dr. Peter Larkins is down on the bench. Doc, who are you looking at closely tonight?
Oh, well, Brian, there's a few of these players that I'm kind of keeping an eye on. Obviously, Mitch Roberts was a late withdrawal because of the calf injury that he's had. They bring the young players in, but Jakira's been an interesting one as well. He'll be starting as a sub for them, but I'll be keeping an eye on to see how he comes up. He's been trying to establish himself with the Bulldogs.
Interesting, Doc, the first game at Casbolt there, the big guy with the knee bandage on the right knee already.
Yeah, he is, Brian. He's been carrying some soreness that they've been working on during the week, so I'm interested to see whether he wears that as a protective thing. We'll watch him when he comes through.
All right, look forward to this. Carlton desperately need this win to hang on. They've won 1 of their last 6 games, Richo.
Yeah, this is a must-win for the Carlton Football Club. That man, Liam Picken, played on Cyril Rioli last week. Cyril did some flashy things, but Picken was one of their better players last week. We know Matty Boyd is always there in the middle for the Western Bulldogs. They need to find some goal scorers tonight, Das. They've really struggled to get the score on the board. You'd think Picken may go to Murphy, but Tommy Williams started forward last week and gave them a target early in that game. I haven't seen him up forward before. I'm looking to see if he starts up there again tonight. Ace Cordy is down there and Williams is starting forward also.
All right, let's get it underway on a Saturday night here. Straight into the ruck for the first game up. Casbolt, Boyd with the clearance. McGuinness couldn't quite hold on it. Gian Syracuse, one they welcome back into the Dogs side, gives them some more goal-kicking power, which they've lacked.
He's a regular goal scorer, Gia, as a medium-sized forward. And that's what they're going to have to do, both sides tonight, really, is manufacture goals from that type of player. We saw Hawthorn do it effectively today. Jordan Lewis kicked 5 goals. Bruce kicked 5. They got 3 from Gunston. So it's the irregular types tonight.
Handball comes out in the direction of Vespremi. Higgins down there fighting, has found a little bit of form in recent weeks as well. Ace Cordy in the tackle.
Yeah, kicked 3 goals last week. Sean Higgins, Danny Gian Syracuse. So they're the leading goal scorers for the Western Bulldogs this year with 18 goals each. Yeah. So it just indicates that they have struggled in that area.
They just had the 4 goal kickers between the whole team.
That's right.
Last week.
Yep.
So right under it, Richo. Dalhouse, one that does give them a bit of spark. Cordy did well to hold off his man Jamison then. That is a great shepherd from Ace Cordy. Dalhouse.
A great start for the Bulldogs, and that is the type of player that we're talking about. He's a rookie-listed player who's been advanced on the list. He's got a bit of a cult following the way he goes about his football. They need, 3-4 goals from a Dalhouse. They're going to have to manufacture a few. Perfect start for the Dogs, Richard.
For a guy that hasn't been around for that long, he's a barometer for this Western Bulldogs team. When he's getting involved, Dalhouse, the Doggies normally play pretty good footy, and that was a good call, BT. That was great work by Ace Cordy there, just to hold Jamison off the line.
Really nicely done. There's Lindsay Gilbey back in. I think this is the third game since he came back to us. Did a medial ligament early in the year, I think.
One of the best kicks of a football that I have ever seen. And I love having him across half-back, get into his hands.
Watch him sizzle it up tonight by foot, Darcy. He's one of my very, very favourite players by foot. Here's Griffin. That's a great-looking kick inside 50. Good start here. Cordy again with some nice athleticism to cross. Cross back into Wallace. Wallace goes backwards. Tom Williams there. Griffin to keep it alive for the Dogs. Picken has taken a mark.
Terrific work. Liam Picken has got the job on Mark Murphy. Murphy drifted down into the Bulldogs forward line, and Picken can make him pay here.
Nothing a tagger loves more, and Lingy will tell us about it, than getting a start, kicking a goal, the man that you're set to do a job on. Lingy was a master at it. Liam Picken will be loving this.
All of their goals last week were of this variety, the Dogs. Set shots. They kicked 6-2 of them. Here is Picken from almost point-blank range. He kicked that real hard. And the Dogs have got a fast start with 2 quick ones.
Oh, terrific start for Liam Picken. And they have not touched the football yet, the Carlton Footy Club. 14 possessions to 0. This is a great start. A minute 47 seconds of play, and the Carlton Footy Club has not touched the ball. This is a great start. The Western Bulldogs, says Lindsay Gilbey. As we just said, he's great start for Picken, and the Carlton Football Club has not touched the football.
That is
2 goals to
remarkable.
0. You can't ask for a better start if you're a Doggies supporter.
2 minutes of footy. Haven't touched it. Unbelievable. Let's see if they get a bite here. Carazzo.
They've had 1 tackle. That's the only thing registering on the stat sheet for Carlton.
Brett Ratton. And there's Casbolt, the first gamer from the Dandenong Stingrays. Garlett trying to burst out of the pack. There's a handball. Armfield. Backwards to Casbolt. Can kick it either side by the looks. High one in. Watson up forward. Mark taken. Boyd.
A lot of verbal, there's a lot of physicalness being brought to the game, and most of it's coming from the Western Bulldogs. All their defenders are muscling up, they're getting in the face of their opposition. There's a sense as Mitch Wallace gets a free kick that the Bulldogs really feel they're a chance in this game tonight.
Happy Wallace got his dad, who owns a Toyota dealership, put him into a new set of wheels during the week, so he's absolutely wrapped, the 20-year-old.
What's he in?
I think a Prado or something, Richard, I'm not sure, but he's very happy about it. Here's Williams at centre-half forward. Griffin on the lead. Punch from the back was good from Gibbs to keep him honest. Here's Murphy, the acting skipper tonight.
His dad, one of the all-time great Bulldogs, you should point out as well. Steve Wallace played a huge amount of games, about 260 off the top of my head.
You were saying he's pretty tight, and it's unusual that he'd give away a car like that.
That's right.
When you give it to your son, that's a fairly appropriate thing to do, I would have thought.
It's coming from a man, BT. I don't even think you've got a wallet.
Big Minson. Credit card man myself, Richo. There are the contested possessions early in this game.
Bryce Gibbs is manning up on Ryan Griffin. Griffin's got involved in a couple of plays early inside that forward 50.
Minson and Casbolt.
Free kick, Mark Murphy, hole.
Off the ball. Yeah, against Picken.
No surprise that both sides will hear the umpire saying Mark Murphy for a hold, that they're the two they've focused on. Mark Murphy being tagged by Liam Picken and Ryan Griffin having Bryce Gibbs run around with him, because they're the 2 game breakers in either side, and you want to try and stop that run through. The rest of the midfielders, without Jarden, without Simpson, just accumulators. They don't really hurt you.
So the likes of Boyd, etc., you're prepared to let him have 25 or 30, not Griffin, though, because he can hurt you.
Yeah, I think he's more damaging by foot, and I don't think he can really tag Matty Boyd. He's going to get 30 touches no matter what.
Exactly. I didn't mean that in a negative sense.
I know what you're saying,
just that he does get a lot of it.
This is something that Carlton don't want to do either, is bomb long to a forward line that doesn't have Jared Waite. Hampson's out injured because Brian Lake, he will just have a field day if you kick it long and high.
Here's Griffin. Loves the space. Back inside the corridor here. And he finds Cross.
They've got numbers out this other side of the ground here, Lindsay Gilby.
You're spot on there, Richo. You can see the Bulldogs setting up with real width in their attack. They want to spread this Carlton defence, get the ball out into a bit of space and then move it quick. But Carlton have done well to slow them up here.
Austin it was, not Cross. Here's the ball in the hands of the Western Bulldogs. He finds one over the top to Grant, who's back in the Dogs lineup this week.
Yeah, Will Minson's just moved forward. He made a good lead there, Joe Grant. That was a poor kick going inside 50. Will had a couple of metres on Jamison.
Minson will do the ruck work here. And had lunch with the Western Bulldogs boys yesterday, and Big Minnow, he was clearly the biggest eater out of all of them.
Yeah.
He consumed a 1 kilo Angus half cow and did it in record time.
Not sure about you licking the plate either, BT.
He's a unique character, that man on screen there. He gets a bit of white line fever, but also a highly intellectual man. Speaks fluent German, plays the saxophone, the clarinet.
First Premi got it into the hands of Howard. Howard goes very wide, looking for his man out there, and this happens to be Tutt again on the far side of the ground here. He had a little bit disappointing the crowd, I've got to add. Williams down low, couldn't quite get on the end of it, and a turnover complete here now with Scotland in the middle of the ground. Got around Cross, far too easy. Now he's got a bit of traction in the middle of the ground, goes high. Now Watson's the target. Betts is underneath him. The punch away third man up was Gilby. Nicely done by him. Eddie Betts, Murphy, who's been a gun in defence in recent weeks.
You might have looked at that kick from Heath Scotland and thought, what is he doing? He was heading straight down the middle of the ground, but when he looked up, Brian Lake all on his own. He had no choice. It was actually a smart kick, Richard.
Yeah, and Thornton is Lake's opponent. He just got too far up the ground, and Lake just said, well, I'm not coming up there. I'm going to sit back in 50.
Fast hands Eddie, onto Russell, back to Murphy. Murphy looks studiously in forward, and that is a ripper, and he finds Collins.
That is why he is a gun, because he sees the game so clearly in heat and traffic, and great peripheral vision, one to spot him, and then you've got to have the skill to kick this. So look at that, quick look out the corner of his eye. He's kicked it between two Bulldogs, punched it low and hard enough that Griffin couldn't get back. That's a 10 out of 10, that kick.
Andy Collins, he's been solid the last few weeks.
Yeah, had a good game last week, Richard.
Former Richmond player, Andy Collins, Bunga is his nickname. It'll be a good start for him.
Very impressive indeed. As Collins comes in for the first real opportunity for the Blues, and he gets one back for them.
They needed that. The Blues, the Doggies have started the game really well, almost double possessions, but if Mark Murphy's going to get the ball in that situation, he'll hurt you every single time, and that was just a great piece of vision to find Andy Collins, and nice shot on goal.
The subs tonight, first game of their, Fraser Dale. We'll talk about him later, out of Assumption College, of course, and Jakira, the sub for the Western Bulldogs, wearing the green vest there. Dr. Gary Zimmerman and Jake Landsberger, they're two of the very best medical men in the business. Out of the middle, Carazzo. Around the body, high over the head, got to go Watson. He did, he forced the contest. It was really well done. Tried to keep it rolling, Armfield, now Garlett. Pickens all over him, but he got plenty on it. Lake gets back for support here and ends up marking after making a little bit of a mess of it. Was Austin.
He's an outstanding mark, Brian Lake. Even then, it was a tricky one. His teammate coming back. He's got fantastic clean hands, reads the ball really well.
Well, as a defender, he goes for his marks. He tries to outmark the forwards, and I reckon him and Matty Scarlett do it as well as anyone.
Lake elects the outer side, looking for Cordy, punched away from him nice and cleanly.
I like the move tonight. Matthew Watson, we saw contest well, as BT called before. He's trying to carve out a career as a young defender, and it's not an easy thing to do when the ball's coming down. thick and fast as it is at the moment. So a good move to give him a run up forward.
Absolutely. Just learn another aspect of the game. Murphy into Armfield. Gilby did well to edge him under the ball and took a nice mark.
Bulldogs played in 3 prelim finals in recent seasons from 2008 through to 2010. And part of it was Gilby, it was Murphy, it was Ryan Hargrave, Dale Morris. They had an outstanding back six. Brian Lake, a dual All-Australian in that time. They marked the ball consistently, and then their foot skills were as good as any team in the competition. And there's just a few of those names back in the side here tonight who are pretty dangerous.
Played consistently together as well as Pearce. Going forward, the ball off hands. Picken's got to go. Russell went at it, caught in the Higgins tackle. Boy, out of the Geelong Falcons, of course. Mickey Turner there. Here's Griffin. Got it on to Wallace. Wallace an opportunity to go inside. He probably could have made a better job of that, I reckon, in hindsight. Scotland and Gibbs combined. One hand there from Carazzo. Did not get it done. Higgins, the wraparound tackle. Here's another one out of the Falcons. Delhouse. And the Dogs lock it in. And Andrew Carazzo, very unusual for him to go Hollywood at this stage.
They're really in a teaching phase for Bulldogs. That's what Brendan McCartney's talking about. That decision from Mitch Wallace. He had Giansiracusa one-on-one, 20 metres out. Chose the tricky 50-50 short. He'll learn that that one just has to go deep into the dangerous spot.
Higgins again. Carazzo this time does it the way that he always does it. Scotland, ambidextrous as he is with his feet and hands. I guess that's the only way you can be ambidextrous, Das.
Yeah.
Probably.
Both sides of your body, Brian.
Would have thought so. Here's Armfield. Kick behind the play. He was searching him board, missed him. And now the Dogs are alight. Liberatore goes long and deep looking for Giansiracusa. Williams there as well. And just letting the ball wander over was Dygan.
Yeah, tried to draw a free kick there, Gia. He is a smart player. As he's got older, he's probably lost a little bit of pace on the lead, but he makes up for it with smarts, and he's very, very good at manipulating free kicks at times in those one-on-ones.
What keeps him in the game, I reckon, Gia, his footy smarts. He's not ultra quick or he's not a fantastic mark, but he just kicks goals every week because he's, as you say, he's footy smart, Richo.
He gets to the right spots, and when he gets in one-on-ones, he is dangerous.
Minson pushed under by Casbolt there. It was well done by Casbolt. Here's Collins, sharp hands to Scotland. Scotland to Russell. Russell back in the side this week for the Blues, along with the likes of Thornton and a couple of others. Giansiracusa met solidly, and a free kick will go his way.
Downfield free kick.
So
yours, here.
It is for Giansiracusa, but it's downfield.
It's yours, free, but downfield, here.
Gia trying to milk it for a stat.
Andrew, right out.
A lot of numbers. Carlton have had time to drop numbers back inside 50 here.
Patrick Vespremi, that's surely not the required journey. The umpire rightly calls play on, and now Griffin on his wrong left side. Delhouse in there, couldn't get overhead. Ace Cordy attacked it. Minson was there as well. Russell goes in, makes it difficult for the Bulldog forwards.
You know what I'm finding interesting looking at that matchup tonight? Bryce Gibbs has got an out-and-out tagging role on Ryan Griffin. #1 draft pick, Bryce Gibbs, 128th game tonight. Barely missed a game in 4 seasons. Surprises me that a player of that quality, that is the role that he's reduced to in the game, of trying to stop other good players.
Handball comes off, opportunity for Howard. He skied one high. Is there an education process involved in that, Das, or is it?
Look, he's very good at it. We've seen him do great jobs on Adam Goods, and he's a very disciplined, he's a solid player, but I just think he's got more to contribute than that. I just feel as though, as a midfielder in his own right, Richo, that perhaps that they're setting the bar a little bit too low. Maybe that's just what they need from him, and he's going to do the disciplined team thing. But when you look at their side, with his quality and his ball use, is that the best you can get out of him?
I think with the injuries and the players out tonight, I thought he may have started in the middle. Griffin's up to 7 disposals. Gibbs has only had the 1, so they might have to look at that matchup anyway.
What do you think, Lingy, on Bryce Gibbs?
I'm in complete agreement with Das there. I think for his development, he's already a quality player, quality ball user, but for his development, he needs to learn to win the ball in a number of different situations, not just feeding the ball out the back and using his good kicking. Win the ball in a contest, push forward, get dangerous, kick goals, all the different ways you can play footy.
Great handball by Williams. Once again, Griffin forced onto the non-preferred, and he finds Cordy. Really well done, Ryan Griffin, to have some poise and straighten up there.
Gee, when he hits packs at pace, and gets out into open space and gets those handball receives. He's unstoppable, Ryan Griffin, and that is a great finish on your non-preferred foot. This is the slider, BT.
Yeah, a little bit of slide in this, but he just didn't get it right. It still slid, but it wasn't...
slid a long way.
Wasn't a great example. Free kick here, going the Blues' way. Here's Scotland. He just gets up a little sore from that contest. Go back and search for another ball, grab another one out of the bag if he wants. Eventually the crowd throw it back. There are the Dogs' most vehement supporters. Collins again, Betts. Looking for the give and go, Betts. Thornton just chucked it out the way of Curnow. He goes in there, over the top. Casbolt tried to sweep it back into the path. Not quite successful. Now Murphy, as Richo pointed out, had a cracker last week, probably the Dogs' best.
Yeah, him and the skipper, Matty Boyd, were definitely their best two against the Hawks.
Liberatore knocking up, getting it. Here's Dalhouse, driving kick inside 50. Gian Syracuse are working back. Williams there as well, but Scotland beats them all. Little ball to Brock McLean, who really has grabbed his opportunity, Brock McLean, when it all looked nearly over, didn't it?
You've got to admire his work rate, BT. That is basically what he's hanging his hat on, that he'll run harder than any other midfielder, and you've got to appreciate a man who's putting that sort of effort in.
Look at this. Yaron taking on Austin. He turned around a couple of times and he said, mate, I've got you covered. My name's Chris Yaron and yours is Austin. Here goes Armfield to Betts. Can't get there, Gilby.
Game's unfolding, Richo.
In fact, Vespremi.
A bit of all that's been smothered. Chance here for
Betts. Reaps the reward of that. Beautiful little handball. That was fantastic. Bell runs into an open goal and misses for his first career goal.
Both sides have got forward issues, haven't they, Richo? They haven't got the scoring power. You've seen the Bulldogs win it, get turned over in their 50, and the Blues are doing the same at their end of the ground.
Well, Yaron was out on the wing there, and he actually couldn't go forward because there was just no structure ahead of him. Watson was out of position. He couldn't get into the right positions, and Yaron just had to hold up the play.
Brendan McCartney having a little look at himself there, and he might have been a touch frustrated with that one.
He was partially exploding and then just saw the little monitor and said, I'll just go easy here. Unlike Alistair Clarkson putting the hole in the wall today. Fascinating. That Vespremi mints and fast hands. Dalhouse the mover and shaker through the middle. Grant. They need him to play well. Gilby. Ground level. Grant again was able to tidy things up on behalf of Gilby, and the ball wide there. Not a great kick.
Even Jared Grant, he has got genuine leg speed there, and he looked up. He's got a player in Heath Scotland who's been a sensational player over a long period of time, but take the game on. Love to have seen him try and take 50 metres of space, see if he can create something.
Grabbed by this man, Casbolt. He's absolutely started brilliantly here tonight. There's an injured Dog player coming off the ground as well. An opportunity here now for Tuck to tuck it under the arm. Dogs go wide. Howard takes the mark. He thinks about playing on. He does. He takes McGuinness on. Look at the kick. Magnificent. And he finds an opportunity here with Tom Williams. Let's get down to Doc Larkins.
Yeah, Vespremi just making his way through the interchange, Brian. They were carrying him off, and he has hobbed and walked up himself a little bit, just right down near the right side, near the knee. I think they'll be checking him. I'll get back to you.
Well, they're just out playing the Blues at the moment, and Tommy Williams, he's had good work rate across half forward. He's providing a target. There's Heath Scotland. He's come off. He looks a little bit sore also.
In the meantime, Williams just in his second game back. Lines up for the Dogs. Played forward last week as well, and he calms, and that's magnificent. Dogs get their third.
Tommy Williams is a man that came from a rugby league background, played only a handful of games before being drafted to the Bulldogs, and he's highly respected and regarded because, as Richo said, he works incredibly hard, and you get to respect your teammates for that. He just needs a good even run of it. That is a concern. The ACL test they do straight away there, Richo.
Yeah, Zimmer's doing all the ligament tests there. The doc will be all over that. That's a fair moe on Zimmer too.
Here's the incident on Vespremi. He's got a bit of a knee injury. You can see the collision there. Hyperextension. Doc Larkins, what do you think?
Yeah, they're just checking in Brian at the moment, just checking the medial and also the cruciate ligaments because he described the knee slipping.
That's the ACL check that they're doing there.
They're doing the ACL and the medial check. Yeah, it looks like Gary Zimmerman's pretty happy with him. He's going to get up and go for a little bit of a walk, I reckon, Brian.
Hey, Doc, how accurate are they with the ACL test? They normally get it 100%, don't they?
Zimmer would be 100%.
Absolutely. Gary Zimmerman, one of the very best in the business out of the Epworth Hospital. Here is Collins.
Yeah, Brian Lake is just all on his own inside that 50. Collins is going to have to work it around as he has done here.
Thornton hasn't been in the selector's eyes in the last few weeks, has he?
You just see in the middle of the screen there, Brian Lake has just positioned himself. You just won't be able to find a target if you let Lake stand there like that.
Tom Bell, great build of a midfielder. That one's a little close to the boundary. Dogs get some numbers there. There's a free kick. I think it'll be against Casbolt in the end to Lake.
Yeah, Richo called that ahead of time. They put it in the spot. The only way to compete was to push him in the back.
Gilby.
They're going to make him accountable, I think, Das. If he's on his own inside that 50, they'll find it hard to score the Blues.
Pearce trying to get it done, just has a bit of a look at Garlett, and Garlett has a bit of a giggle, and Pearce not as happy. Jeffy needs to get his wheels wound up tonight.
Yeah, he's been out of touch, hasn't he, Jeffy Garlett? He's such a dangerous player, but really he's had a year that he'd probably like to forget, as we said here in round 17.
There's Yaron against Gian Siracusa.
This is the next kick here. They've just got nothing across half forward at the moment. Andy Collins is offering a lead, but just not much ahead of him.
Jordan Russell goes wide and finds Brock McLean.
Just watching Brian Lake organise himself down there, Richo. He just rolls off every time. He gets Mark Austin, come back, you pick up my man. They try and put someone else on. He's just getting himself free. And as they look up again here, it's Lake who's standing directly in the hole.
Very good at it, isn't he?
And they kicked it straight to him.
And there it is.
That's not good enough. They have to make Lake accountable, or else this will happen all night.
So bring a player down and play directly on him, regardless of how many you end up with at that end of the ground, boys.
I reckon.
Yeah, it's as crucial as that. I mean, he's just so good at it. And once he gets his confidence up, he actually becomes almost unstoppable. When he's dangerous, he sets up play from that part of the ground. Look, they would have known this. They would have put a lot of time in it, but they've got an inexperienced side. They've got 3 debutants playing tonight. You get under pressure, you panic a bit, and you make the wrong decision.
Libba with a couple of possessions there. If I've ever seen a 200-game player or more, it's him. Tom Liberatore, very consistent player. Now Gilby. Carlton wouldn't like it in his hands because he can do that to you. He is dynamic. Drop the mark, Pearce back inside Higgins. Had to be clean through traffic. Picken did well, the Blues in the end, although they cough it up. Higgins gets a second opportunity, bending, not enough.
Had some good spread moving forward then, the Western Bulldogs. Yeah, here's Brian Lake. So he's just positioning himself on his own, and he reads the play so well.
Boys, Levi Casbolt was trying to engage Brian Lake on that last bit of play. It's actually the other Carlton players who need to engage the other Bulldogs players so that Lake can't just keep rolling off onto whoever he wants to. If they can get even numbers forward of the ball, then Brian Lake is forced to play on an opponent, whoever that might be.
The thoughts of the reigning premiership captain, Cameron Ling, there. He's all over it, Lingy, isn't he?
Yeah, and Richo's being quite magnanimous at the moment. I'll tell you a story about Brian Lake and Richo when we get a chance in a minute as well, Bristol.
Look forward to hearing that. Here's Gilby, sharp hands. Grant. The escapee here is Murphy. Had Wallace on, eventually went there, and Yaron did well.
We played the Tigers a few years back now, and Richo was in doubt with an injury, and I think he went into the game 50-50. He turned up at the ground. Brian Lake set for him in great form. Richo was a footy record and reads Brian Lake's player profile. Who's your hardest opponent? Matthew Richardson. Richo grows a leg and kicks 6. And a little learning curve. Name your opponent.
Betts finds his opportunity here, and Joseph has taken the mark. Yes,
definitely a few more than 6, actually, Richard.
No, I don't know about that, Das, but it does fill you with a little bit of confidence when you open up the footy record and see that.
Oh, you've got to love that, Richo.
Certainly do.
Joseph now with an opportunity here for the Blues, nearing the quarter-time break. You can see the clock at 2 minutes. Dogs by 13. Hasn't kicked a goal this year, Joseph. This is his Real big opportunity, and he doesn't let anyone down. Carlton back within a goal.
And I've been impressed with his ability to push forward, Joseph. He's not a noted goal kicker. We keep talking about that tonight as being a big factor. They've got to find goals both sides from unlikely sources. Aaron Joseph has played 67 games as of tonight, and that's his 10th career goal. So they'll be pretty happy to get one out of him.
Chris Judd sitting in the coach's box. Kate Simpson sitting in the front row, by the way, wearing braces on his teeth these days as a result of his jaw issue over the last couple of weeks because they couldn't operate, apparently.
Yeah, Juddy pointed that out before the game when we had a chat to him. He couldn't operate in the position where it was, so they had to put the braces on to get his jaw back in line.
You've highlighted Tom Liberatore a few times, Bristol, and there he is again at the bottom of the pack, son of the champion Tony, and he is absolutely going to have a great career. He's so consistent in the way he gets his hands. Keep an eye on the way he picks up the footy and gets it out. There it is again.
Yep. Out of the Calder Cannons footy factory down there with Marty Allison. Here's Boyd.
They're really starting to develop, Liberatore and Wallace. Wallace is up to 7 touches already tonight. A couple of midfielders of the future.
Kick inside 50, closing them down. Good thump away in the end from McInnes, picked up by Pick and Higgins through traffic, likes the opportunity on his non-preferred. Good kick, finds Grant.
Feels like a big night, BT, for that man, Jared Grant. He's only in his 45th game tonight. He's hadn't played since round 8. Look at a brilliant kick here from Sean Higgins, but wanting to develop a side, they need players to stand up, and he's got talent, this man. Can he deliver it?
Grant comes in, just nearing the quarter-time siren, made a bit of a mess of it. Just got a tweet here. When was the last time Carlton played 3 debutants in the one game, which they're doing here tonight? Round 1, 2009, we're led to believe Lee, who sent that tweet in. There were 4 in that particular game. Here's Dygan. 3 of them tonight. Bell, Dale and Casbolt.
Nick, you've got 3. Let him go now, Daniel.
Dygan getting a little stroppy, and Daniel G in Syracuse are happy to go on with it as well. So just under half a minute remaining in the quarter. Dogs have led it the entire quarter. Carlton prepared to play this kicking game in the back half. Bauer. Short ball to Betts, needs to get the Dukes out and mark it in front. Defender can knock that away. Murphy tidies it up for the Blues. There's time, 7 seconds here. Garlett better be told quickly by the runner. The runner's on the bench and he tells the other runner out there, get to him. And he'll now know not to play on.
Well, he'll have to kick this just on 50 metres, probably about 55 to carry, so...
Right on his range,
I reckon it right on the edge, I reckon, for Jeffy.
Jeffy Garlett to get him within 2 points at quarter time. From right on 50, it's straight, it's accurate, just bending at the last moment. Fell 5 metres short as Richo suggested it would. Good quarter of football, the Western Bulldogs up and about. And they're doing very, very nicely indeed. They lead it by 8 points. 3-3-21 to the Dogs. Carlton, 2-1-13. Saturday night footy been favourable for the Dogs here in the first quarter. They lead it by 8 points. You can see 3 individual goal kickers there for the Dogs. Murphy got plenty of it. So did Ryan Griffin, who was outstanding. And I know you, Lingy, were keeping a very close eye on Ryan Griffin.
Yes, I was, BT. He's had a bit of the footy. He's had the 9 touches already. But what it is that I love about him and the way why he's looking dangerous is the fact that how he's getting his footy. He's getting it, starting to break away from a few stoppages. starting to find the ball in a little bit of space and use that running ability that he's just so good at. When he's doing things like that, that's when he's absolute best. When he's breaking away from clearances, setting up his teammates and taking the game on, his running ability is up there with the absolute elite in the game. And trust me, when he's doing things like this, look out, he's very, very hard to stop. On the burst, using the ball inside 50 and hitting up his leading forwards. Very good player.
I think we've been talking a lot about Bryce Gibbs as the stopping tagger. He goes to him again now. He had one disposal. Gibbs, Griffin, as Lingy pointed out, has been on fire with 9. Benny Kay's jumped on the Twitter. He says, I agree, boys. You've got to use Gibbs as your quarterback type midfield or half-back. Could be a great playmaker like Hearn from the West Coast Eagles.
Start of the second quarter here, Das. Dogs by 8 points. Kicking to the right of screen in this second quarter. Minson did really well. Boyd there as well. Carazzo equal to the task. And now Collins in and under. And I think we'll have to chuck it up again.
Just looking down at
Western Bulldogs.
at the Carlton forward line. Robert Murphy's going to Betts, but Armfield's sort of trying to tag Murphy. So that's like a 4-way runaround inside their forward 50, the Carlton team.
All over the line. Higgins just couldn't quite handle it on the line there. Very speedy little boundary umpire comes in to sling it back into play. Ball must head in the direction of the middle of the oval when the boundary umpires throw it in. Here's Brock McLean. Garlett took his eyes off the ball momentarily. Vest Premi looks like he's recovered from his first quarter knee jolt. Took him on, been penalised, and Garlett with the ball.
Move it on.
Teammates telling him to go forward rather than backwards and sideways. He looks for Watson, who is being tested overhead here today. Curnow, Armfield. Now an opportunity with Bell. Really strongly built player down to Betts and Murphy. Betts turns him around. A deliberate little socket was good. Collins has already got one. Smother. Cross. Had to be clean. He wasn't. Garland is able to turn around and hook it over the shoulder.
Well, that's what he does well. Jeffy Garlett, loose ball get in the forward half, and when he gets in that position, he's going to kick a goal every day of the week. He needed that. He needed it for his confidence. He had that shot on quarter time, didn't make the distance, but starting to get involved a little bit now.
Carlton were flying after the first 3 rounds of the season. They were, in fact, premiership favourite when they beat Collingwood. Their forward pressure was elite, and that's what they need to get back to. They haven't got the big forwards in, but Jeffy Garlett, Eddie Betts, Dennis Armfield, they've got to create goals from that sort of forward pressure turnover.
Boyd being hassled by Carazzo. Minson picked it up very nicely. Gian Siracusa inside 50. Cordy gets rid of his man, allows William to come through. Cordy has a second go for the big man. Well done. Fight off the handball outside. Tackle took a little too long, Howard. Caught in the tackle, and it'll be Bell.
Yeah, Tommy Bell liked a few signs from the debutant off the rookie list. He's a strongly built unit, isn't he, Tommy Bell? He's really starting his career nicely.
Yeah, here's this 4-way runaround that's happening in the Carlton forward line. Murphy's playing on Betts, but Armfield wants to tag Robert Murphy. They obviously really respect his ball use and run out of that back half.
Gilby just getting some instruction off to the side there on that battle as well. Richo, here's Brock McLean, who needs to be good by foot, and he is to Yaron. That's a ripper. Yaron could have gone, but he had not one person presenting down the line, so he had to bring it back in this way to Curnow. Steps the mark. That's a tough one to Collins as Gilby just bumps him out of the way. Did well not to infringe there, Gilby.
Boys, watching the reaction of the Carlton players around the kicker, it's pretty clear what the direction was from Brett Ratton at quarter time. He wants them moving the ball forward, not going sideways, chipping back and forward. He wants them going straight down the ground as fast as they can.
Yeah, it was that interesting one before, Lingy, right in front of you, where he said, his teammates all said to him, no, go forward, don't go sideways. So obviously on the money there. Here's Liberatore, finds Cordy. Cordy a long way from home. Good ball inside to Grant. Grant's got room, space and time. And the Dogs doing it very, very nicely. Dygan's got him covered here, or has he? Higgins, exceptional stuff from him in the goal square.
Yeah, he had him done cold then, Sean Higgins, Nick Dygan. He got in behind Dygan. Dygan lost touch on him, turned his back almost, and Higgins was always in the box seat to take that mark. It was still a good mark in the end, but just had the right positioning.
So Higgins, as Dygan has a bit of a think about that. Directly in front. This is a certain goal. Look at that. You can't miss that. Surely.
You can.
Well, Richo. Higgins goes in, nails it. 8-point lead to the Dogs.
He's in pretty good nick at the moment. Sean Higgins has had a lot of injury concerns throughout his career, but that is why he's rated so highly. And I think where he's at, it is time to see that on a consistent basis. He's a powerful unit, one-on-one. It's just that consistency of getting into enough contests. When he does, he's a very good one-on-one player.
So a good result there for the Dogs. They lead by 8 points. There is, that's for the Carlton, Fraser Dale. And I mentioned that he was out of Assumption College. Of course, we've had a couple of callers saying he's out of East Keilor College, which he is. But he first of all did go to Assumption, then on to East Keilor while he was at his time with the TAC Cup team in the Calder Cannons. He'll get his opportunity shortly. They call him Casper because of his very snow-like skin, Richo.
One of 3 debutants for the Blues tonight. And he comes on activated sub. And a late inclusion, Mitch Robinson, a late withdrawal out of the side tonight, of course, for Carlton.
Yep, he was. And that gives Dale the opportunity to come in as the sub.
Saw Mark Murphy looked a little bit sore in that left shoulder there. He's just been bumped as well.
Yaron.
Pickens really working him over.
Well, Murphy's responded here too. You can see he looked a bit winged there, didn't he, Richard?
Yeah.
The Bulldogs are giving it to him every time they can.
Keep an eye on this, because if he's deliberately banging into that shoulder, he's given it a really good old test, isn't he? And it's right on the fine line of fairness, I reckon. But Picken is a tough customer and
BT.
within his rights to test him out.
Go hard here, Lingy.
Yeah, as soon as you take the field, you're fit to play footy, and as long as nothing over the shoulder, he's fair game, I think.
Spot on, Lingy.
Lingy all over it, just wanting to really get
What about
involved.
you getting a bit...
I said...
he's got a bit of strapping on. You're not allowed to touch him. That's a
Say
ridiculous thing to say.
I said he's within his rights to have a go. Didn't you
It's
listen?
on the line of unfair.
Well, it just depends how it happens, Das.
You're allowed to bump players, BT.
Yeah, in the course of play you are.
I think you're on your own here.
That's right. Well, we'll see you boys. Scotland. Gee, talk about just one lifeboat here, and the boys have already used it. There's Gibbs. That half back. Collins, who's been a very effective player already for Carlton. Good tackle by Howard. Did he leg him? Umpire said yes. And Collins free, just forward to the wing, right in front of the Dogs interchange bench. See, that kicker is lazy around the corner kick, wasn't it?
They're forcing them wide, the Bulldogs. You can see what he had in front of him, and Brian Lake again. They've got Armfield now at this stage moving over, trying to play defensive role at the moment, but they just can't attack through the corridor.
Gee, Curnow come off the bench there, and that is the collision. No damage done, but that is the one we've been waiting for. It's only a matter of time before someone is poleaxed coming off the bench. Players on the field don't know about it. That was as close as I've ever seen. That could have been carnage.
And it's a miracle that Ed Curnow is up and running. He's a little bit sore because he spread-eagled himself in that courageous effort. But you're right, this is the issue. So much interchange now. Players coming on. No one knows that they're there. Have a look at him cartwheel out. Get another look at this.
Straight off the bench. Oh, over he goes. Boy, unbelievable stuff.
You're right, BT. It's going to happen, isn't it, one day? We don't want it to.
You wonder what would have happened then if he'd hit the player in the head with his hip and shoulder. Would he have been pinged in his desperation to win the ball? He didn't on that occasion, but it's going to happen sooner or later. Here's Gian Siracusa around the corner, and no one goal kicker, and he's got it. The Dogs pull away momentarily.
Great goal from Gia. He's just a great player. 224 games now. He's moving up on the man beside me, Luke Darcy. He's only a couple of games off, I believe. It's good to see Gia back in the side. There's Ed Curnow. He's looking a little bit sore from that near collision.
Daniel G and Syracuse are getting hold of this, and Richo, you mentioned how he's moving up on the charts at Dogsland in terms of games played. Tonight he becomes the 12th all-time Western Bulldogs player on 225 games, so that's an outstanding effort for him. 14-point lead now to the Dogs. Carazzo out the back door. Little ball to tempt Murphy to run. He's really clean at the level as well. Just a nursing chip to Gale. I thought it could probably chipped in front of Eddie then. Saw him coming. Lake wanting boundary. Picked up in the end by Pearce. And the umpire said deliberate. Went straight over, said the umpire. Made no attempt to keep it in. Saw a shocker at the MCG today. Deliberate out of bounds. The worst one I've ever seen.
Shocker in terms of incorrect decision.
Absolutely.
That one seemed to touch Haas at first glance as well.
Carazzo not looking confident about the journey here. Watson gives him a half-hearted lead.
Hasn't got much to go to. Big Will Minson's making his way back towards the line now.
That'll fall just a little short. Watson gets a jump at it from behind, and Eddie was menacingly hanging around the back. Now let's have a look at that deliberate. You can see the opportunity with Pearce here. What do you reckon, boys? Richo?
He just stepped across the line, but look, we know they're going to pay those now. You've got to try and do everything you can to keep it in play. Not sure I agree with it 100%, but that's the rule now.
Ace Cordy, half-back. Happy to come high. That was just a little mental letdown with that kick from Ace. He just dribbled that off the boot. Lake in there, just shrugs off Murphy. Murphy got him. Did he dispose of it legal in the end? Picken, some would say it's doubtful.
Very lucky there, Brian Lake.
Wallace, wide.
They've got nothing to go to here, the Bulldogs. They've rolled everyone back. Just got to wait for some guys to run and position forward. They'll have to hold it up now.
Pearce to Libba. Libba just happy to work this one out very wide, looking for Williams. Got up the one paw. Bauer did well to the advantage of Yaron. Yaron can go here. Look at the kick in the middle to Thornton. Can he get it in the hands of a kicker? Dygan overlapping. Handball back inside. Collins. A sizzler. What a ripping low ball. A daisy cutter.
Certainly was. He's a right footer, Andy Collins, but that was a terrific left foot pass.
Garlett the beneficiary. Have a look at this. Did he dispose of it legally in the end?
No.
The umpire, well, he didn't, but he made an attempt, I guess. But
that's what the coach thinks about it.
Yeah. Handball off to Gibbs, who gets some momentum with the kick. Hoists a long ball just offline.
Surprisingly getting a bit of support for you on Twitter. Matthew Jones has weighed into the debate about bumping Mark Murphy. Deliberate bumping and pulling of an injured player's arm is cheap and unsportsmanlike, says Matthew Jones.
Well, only if it's behind the play.
Tanya reckons it definitely looks like Picken is giving Murphy's shoulder a workout. It certainly was.
Oh, you boys are just retreating at 1,000,000 miles an hour, which is good to see. Here's Lake.
You try and get little wins for yourself all the time, BT, don't you?
Oh, Richo. Here's Cross. There's a bit of tension up here in the box at the moment. Minson over the back. Dygan and McLean to tidy up in the end. Dygan got in the way of Brock McLean. Thornton was good handball. Put Curnow under pressure, but nevertheless gave him an opportunity to clear the ball.
Just flattened right off this game in the last 5 minutes. There's no breaking of the lines. There's no movement at all. And as we said pre-game, it's Murphy and Griffin. They're the ones that inject that line-breaking quality. Both have had an influence. They want to get the ball in their hands to get through. Yaron's the other one that can do it.
And here he is, on cue. Such a clean handle. I love the way he shapes up the kick, the drop punch. Free kick to Armfield there. He got a nudge.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed with that.
Behind your mark.
Robert Murphy, he had him on the lead. He just didn't need to make contact there. He was just trying to work him under the ball, gave away the free kick. They finally got their way with that matchup, the Blues.
Thornton thought about the outside handball, and the kick is just not good enough. Into the slot. Handball back to Vespremi. Gilby couldn't handle it either. Taken away, and Bell runs in and kicks his first goal in AFL football.
Well done, Tommy Bell, debutant. And he's making a big impact in his first game. As we said before, he's a big, powerful, solid midfielder. And a great result for that man there. Well done.
He certainly is. Chris Judd talking about him before the game. He's got some real size. That was just good forward pressure by the Blues. They've got a couple of goals now this quarter from really good pressure inside their forward 50.
Tom Bell with his first goal in AFL football. A good chase, put the pressure on Lindsay Gilby, and bang he goes. This is a guy with that build that ran 15-1 in the beep, has one of the biggest tanks at the Carlton Footy Club.
Yeah.
95 kilos as well, Richo. He's a massive unit.
Anything over 15 in the beeper is elite, and at that weight, that's a great tool to have.
Very nice. Richo, was your beep best?
Oh, they told me to stop, but it's...
No. The Bulldogs into attack. A long ball had to go back, and he did nicely. Bauer. Here's Grant. Shrugs all tacklers. The dribbler. Grant in a great response from the Dogs.
Oh, that hurts the Blues. They've worked so hard to scramble that last goal, and straight down and the answering goal from the Doggies.
And they're coming from everywhere just to maybe let Paul Bauer know that perhaps that was one he might have had another look at. Bristol was perhaps a touch kind. Everyone's been in that situation before. They're the ones you want to grab.
To go or not to go?
Well, Paul Bauer goes back, and he just has a little flinch there at the inopportune time. Everyone's been in that situation before. He will really not enjoy watching that one again. The Bulldog players came from everywhere just to get inside Bauer's head and suggest that he perhaps didn't go hard enough.
Have a look at you two analysing that and just telling him to go a little harder. Boyd now spinning pirouette out of trouble. Boyd, talk about put the modern day player under the microscope.
That's the way we call it on Saturday night footy. We were all held to account ourselves. Hey, don't worry, I put my head and ducked it more than once. That's the game. We get called for what we see, Richo.
Every player has been in that position, and every player's done it at some stage, and it's a horrible feeling, and the Doggy boys were all over it.
Apparently not Brian.
Can't remember, but anyway, here's Pickin.
I reckon you ducked your head into the shell a few times, BT. Old Turtle Taylor.
Video evidence required, I think, as Richo just talking it up. Have a look at the hit here. Curnow, bang, knee to the head. Ace Cordy, the big guys, you can't trust them, Das. They're all gangly, and they're all arms and legs and giraffe-like. Howard around the corner, a high ball opportunity for the Dogs again. The leaper over the back was Cordy. Nice knockdown. Boyd through traffic, gave it onto the speedy Delhouse. Another goal for the Dogs. Kicked 4 of the last 5.
Gee, Matty Boyd, he's just a poised player, and Delhouse got out the back, but his skipper just put him into a great position, great vision through the pack, set him up with that handball, and it's out to a 19-point lead now to the Western Bulldogs. Pretty big centre clearance coming up. The Blues need to answer. They wouldn't want the Doggies to get the next goal.
A nice goal here to Dalhouse, the Western Bulldogs. I want to ask Cameron Ling, just on that topic before, Ling, you're the most recently retired player. Are we too harsh as an industry now on players going back with the flight? Josh Hunt was a celebrated one where he really faced a big pasting. We'll come back to you in a minute, Ling. Get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I'd like to hear them. Garlett, now the Dogs in defence. Cross will just have to ease this one out, and he does. What do you think, Lingy?
It's just unfortunate. The times that it does happen, it really stands out because 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, the blokes go and they go hard and they put their body on the line. Like
Is it a hard call or not, Lingy?
Ed Curnow before. Well, I reckon it's a bit harsh, but I tell you what, he'd won his time back then, but I'm not going to point any fingers. I've done it as well.
Well, I think you just have an opportunity here for Griffin flying. Gets his own ground level ball. Gee, Lingy really starting to point a few out in the game now, isn't he?
I know what it's like, boys. It's a sickening feeling. You know that contact's coming and you don't want to be in that situation. And I wish I could say I went hard every time, but I reckon there was a couple of times.
Every player has done it at some stage in their career.
Curnow just having a bit of a look at things there with a bit of a picker. What do you reckon, Doc, on Curnow?
Yeah, Brian, he really hurt himself when he came off the bench. He's got a cork calf and he's now got a sore jaw in the right mandible.
Oh, the Dogs have got another one here. Really nicely done, and they're away 3 in a row, and Williams has kicked it.
Pretty happy with his work there too, big Tommy Williams. He hasn't played forward a lot, Richo. You'll enjoy that.
Did he play forward as a junior? I'm liking his work up there, Darcy. He's got a good work rate, he's presenting, and I reckon he could be a future prospect up forward.
He only played 9 games prior to debuting in AFL football, had no background. His old man started the Brisbane Broncos, and so it's actually a brilliant story. He's a good option.
There's Griffin again setting up that goal for Tommy Williams, and that's his second goal. He was solid last week early against the Hawks, died out of it, but I reckon they should persist with him up forward for the rest of the season. He works hard, he presents, and if you do that as a forward, you're going to win your share of football.
Here's Collins. Cross just getting back in the hole, and he doesn't let his team down. By the way, the Dogs have won just 9 quarters in their 7 matches this year, prior to tonight, where they've so far controlled both quarters, and they're now up by a game-high 25.
Yeah, they look pretty confident and comfortable at the moment. That is a brilliant kick from Murphy. Look how that has split them open.
Indeed it has, and now Austin had a piece of the ball, goes long and deep. Williams up with one hand at the back. McInnes tackled by Gian Siracusa around the hips, forced the turnover. Here's Williams. Dygan wraps him up, still had the awareness to get her away. Jamison back in the assisting role for the Blues, and a nice chiselling kick to Murphy. Yaron on the overlap run. That was just perhaps a little lazy as Armfield. Now to Yaron. Can he penetrate this year? Tackle, and he slides through a couple of players as well. The kick is good to Garland. Off hands over the top. Betts is going to have to do some fast work. Back to Garland. Good running, linking play from the Blues from the back half.
Exciting to watch the leg speed, the link up, as Bristol called there. They really burst through. The speed of Jeffrey Garlett, Yaron and Eddie Betts, that is the way that they're going to get back into this game. They've got to run hard, take the game on, and see if they can manufacture that sort of a goal.
Collectively an 8-goal quarter so far from both of these units out there, and Yaron really setting that up to Garlett, and very unselfishly, even though Murphy did get a piece of it, Garlett and Betts combining nicely in the goal square. Back to 19 points for the Blues fans out there. There's McLean going very much in the back door to try and win this one, but Pickens got hold of him. So good last couple of minutes here in this one. 5:50 remaining in the game.
Yeah, Jeffrey Garlett's playing the best game that he's played for a while. 2 goals. He's had the 12 disposals. He's just getting involved tonight. He's busy. Just haven't seen enough of it this year from Jeff.
Picken was surprised in that. He's just bowling him over in there. Here's Gibbs, thought about the kick. Went wide to Collins, who's knocking up, getting it at the moment to Armfield. The stretch, he's got it. Now he'll go back and straighten up. Good decision, otherwise he would have had to go to the boundary. Back inside to Gibbs. Kick wasn't great. Griffin ran out the ball. High tackle on Murphy. He recovered brilliantly, Murphy, and just out the side door, the wrong choice made, and Howard just slows things down for the Dogs. Cross now. Garlett just come off the bench again. For those just joined us, we saw a collision moments ago with a player coming off the bench. Curnow it was, I think. And only a matter of time before someone gets seriously injured from leaving the bench. Players often wait to leave the bench these days when the other player is already sitting on the bench. They wait for the right opportunity, almost hide there.
I'm not sure how you can stop it though, BT.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things in footy.
And ball back now to Scotland. Scotland around 1, and now decides to go long. Betts over the top. He launched, didn't he? Gave himself an opportunity. Look at the recovery, Betts. He was the one up in the air then, and he's the first to arrive back. Well done, Eddie.
Yeah, terrific second effort from Eddie.
First game at Casbolt. Levi Casbolt, age 22. Just played the one game in the VFL, you know, last, I think before he played his first game today, just the one in the VFL. There's 14 games on the sideline prior to that. Here's Gilby, both hands on it.
It's a lot of faith, isn't it, to bring someone back in? I think it's also just the story of their injuries. Shocking fumble here, Grant.
Gilby's got to tidy it up now. Didn't need to go for too much. Liberatore, loopy handball.
One of their issues, the Western Bulldogs, they overpossess the footy a bit at the moment. The second in disposals.
Oh, no! Let's have a listen here.
I'm back on.
Oh, come on.
So Eddie's got the free. As a result from the boundary line, I'm thinking right foot banana. He sets himself for that right foot banana. There's the hold. So from the boundary line, Eddie Betts has missed.
I'm not... Probably a bit of justice done there. There wasn't much in that at all. It's a big boys' game out there. There's going to be a little bit of emotion.
Pretty good on the sledge, Robert Murphy.
Oh, he loves it, doesn't he?
He's really adept at that part of the game. He's gone back to Eddie. And you could see him plead with the umpire, Murphy. He said, I'm not going to let him give it to a first game. You've got to let me make some physical contact. And the umpire might have overreacted a touch.
Gilby, big ball in looking for Lake. McInnes goes back now. Gilby's got to protect the drop of the balls. Only did. Thornton did well to Collins. He just lost a handle on it at the last second when he went to kick there. And he's... Look at those shorts from Eddie. Gee, they're big. Lingy, are they not your shorts? You used to wear oversized shorts as well, didn't you? Hey?
I don't know what you're talking about there, BT.
Oh, boy.
Give me a couple of years, I might fit into those ones.
Howard. Murphy, the tackle, wasn't really strong in the tackle. Dalhouse pursued by Yaron. Look at the wheels and the zigzag from Dalhouse to Higgins. Magnificent from the boy out of the Geelong Falcons footy factory, Mickey Turner style.
That, as you called it, the zigzag, Darcy. He's just got an ability to lose with his running pattern there. Yaron's, we know how quick he is. How good was that?
Very good effort to do that on Yaron. I don't reckon anyone takes him on. He lost him perfectly.
That was unbelievable. And then the poise on the kick, it flat out to find Higgins.
Well, that's just a game-breaking play when you can get yourself out of trouble like that and break a line. That gave Higgins an open 50 to lead into.
Boy, oh boy, wowee. What a great thing that was from Dalhouse. The Higgins grip. Slightly higher on the right side. Improving in his football over the last couple of weeks, says Das, and that one a little leftish.
He's pretty comfortable in the one-on-one situations, Sean Higgins, tonight. He's taken a good contested mark and out the lead. Just that consistency of hitting enough contests, the work rate to get to the footy enough. Always been highly regarded. 100-game player now. Need to see that regularly.
One of the reasons the Dogs will go in at half-time with a handy little break is they're just using the football a lot better. They're going at 81%, and that's better.
Dude, that's high.
Yeah, that's better than they've been for a long time. It's not a high-pressure game out there. It's low tackling from both sides, but the Doggies are just using it better.
High 60s, Richo, a normal sort of effectiveness, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, around
Average.
70, I reckon.
Yep. Joseph.
I haven't got any clue, really, but I think 80's pretty high.
Sound like you're having a guess.
Yeah.
Just Cross getting it out. Interesting, Rito, when he's having a guest asked that you can.
80% is world record pace. That is elite.
That's high.
See the deft little tap there from Cross to Murphy to Pickin. Pickin now looking to penetrate. Higgins on the lead, got the Dukes out in front, no free. Murphy to Scotland. Can they hurt him on the rebound? Clever tap from Collins. Curnow just looked a little iffy on his left side. Collins falling over the new turf and then got the accidental knee into the head of Griffin.
Oh, they mucked that up big time, and Curnow's left foot was shocking. Turner 3-on-1. They're going with all the momentum forward. Griffin pulls off.
And boys, Carlton have swapped it over. They've sent Bryce Gibbs back to that typical quarterback role. They've swapped Ed Curnow now onto Ryan Griffin.
You like that, Lingy? You think that's a better option for the way they set up?
Yeah, I think Griffin was just having too much influence on the game. Ed Curnow's more of a shutdown player. It allows Gibbs to play with a bit of freedom and try and set up a bit of play with his creative ball use.
Well, Daniel, our stats man, has said that all clubs are either between 69 to 75% for disposal efficiency. So
there goes Yaron.
80 is high.
8 seconds. Can he bust through the middle and get it long? They need it long, and they're going to run out of clock here now, the Blues. And that'll be it at half-time. The Dogs are by 19 points. Brendan McCartney having a chat with a few of his players. The Western Bulldogs 8-4-52 at half-time, leading Carlton 5-3, 33.
Having by far his best season. Will Minson obviously taken over that #1 ruck role with Ben Hudson leaving, and I think it's been the making of him this year, Big Will.
See the tackles, 23-22 there.
Low
Very
numbers.
low, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a fairly
Possession game, isn't it?
Yeah, it is tonight, and the Doggies are just getting more run and spread there. I can't believe they're plus 47 uncontested possessions in a half of football. That is huge, and the Blues need to find some more run in this second half if they're to get back in the game, because the Dogs are controlling it at the moment.
This is the third time the Dogs have won the first 2 quarters, but not gone on to win the game, I think, in this one. So they've got a big second half ahead of them.
Yeah, they need to do something about Brian Lake, Carlton. You see him there wandering back to his position. And we had just Coops tweet through. He said exactly that. Blues need to shake things up. Reckons that they should swing Jamison forward to make Lake accountable and give the midfield a target. Well, Thornton, it seems, is going to try and play that role, Richo, and I like it. He's there to just make sure that Lake doesn't get free.
And I wouldn't get too far up the ground if I was Thornton, because Lake will just sift off. He won't go with you if you get up 60, 70 metres out from goal.
All right, well, let's have a look at this second half. Wallace sets the example for the Dogs there with an early in and under. Thornton has on that forward end of the ground, kick out wide looking for Bauer, couldn't quite get hold of it. Gilby defensively to the boundary and says hello to the Channel 7 Techo boys down there on the boundary.
Well, we see here that Thornton's come up. He'll take the ruck work here at this boundary throw-in, and Casbolt has gone deep forward. Brian Lake running down to pick him up. He was always going to win that tap against Thornton.
Yeah, double-handed. Gee, Mitch Wallace upended.
A spear tackle, that one.
By Tom Bell, who gets the congratulations of his teammates. Have a look at this.
Boys, I like the look at Tommy Bell. He plays footy the right way.
What about the 7 boys in the background and you just sitting there linging, enjoying that?
Absolutely, that's good to watch.
Ball immediately pinned mine.
A scary proposition running around at 95 kegs, Tommy Bell. And as Richo pointed out, an elite runner, exciting debut.
15 beeper, 15-1 beeper. Richo said they had to turn the machine off and he was running it, but that's highly unlikely.
I did not say that, BT.
Murphy.
Thanks, Glenn. Cheers, mate.
Picken looks at the umpire. Was a little disappointed. Yaron gets around Picken, took him on, sold him some hand candy. Now Yaron, a long ball, penetrating ball. Collins in front, got a push from Vespremi.
Push in the back.
Correct call. As we see here, Vespremi with a forearm in the back, but nevertheless a push under the ball.
It's been solid, Andy Collins, in that first half. It's lively inside the forward 50.
Well, this is a Stevie J technique here, where you run out, you snap it on the left foot.
And he does just that, and he really did it well, Dar. So the Blues, the first goal in the second half.
The players love that kick now, Richo, don't they? They're so good. 2 steps, get some curl going, left or right foot. They kick it better than 30 metres out directly in front.
They practice them so much now at training. It's a definite free kick there for Andy Collins, and a couple of goals for him tonight. 13 disposals in over a half. He's having a solid night.
The Geelong players have made an art form of this kick. It's a couple of steps, bending it around the body. The modern player kicked that better than just about any set shot in the game.
Magnificent demonstration of how to do it with great poise and grace. Now Scotland out of the middle. Cross should get a free for that. Unlucky. Gee, fast hands by Wallace, equally by Minson, but the bounce didn't work for Boyd. Free kick away of Boyd against Big Tom Bell. And Boyd not without a chance of getting the journey from here. He's not going back for the enormous run-up, though. He kicks into the pocket, gives an opportunity for Williams, got both hands on it, couldn't control it, and now the Blues do it very nicely. Bell with a kick wide, Bauer strong overhead to Thornton. Thornton down the field, and now McInnes. McInnes, in just his third game of the big-time footy, goes long looking for Eddie. No attempt in the air from Eddie. Murphy to Boyd. Boyd over the top. Great handball. Just fantastic from Boyd. McInnes, though, defensively. Higgins comes off. Looks like he's got a concern. We'll go down to Dock and we get a chance. McInnes inside with a lovely kick, finds Collins. What do you think with Higgins, Doc?
They're just taking him down. He's walking pretty comfortably down, Brian, so they're just going to have a check him, and I haven't seen any examination they've done.
His body language horrendous. Let's have a look at Sean Higgins giving chase here.
He's gone.
He's done a hamstring for sure.
Yep, hamstring there for Higgins.
So disappointing for him. He's just starting to find some form the last few weeks. Just can't get a good run at it, Sean Higgins.
So Collins with another opportunity. 30 metres out directly in front. This to really get the Blues started in the second half.
Well, he'll be shattered. Sean Higgins, he just had a horrible run in the game. He's re-emerged. Let's hope the news isn't bad, but that looked like a genuine hamstring. He knows it. He walks straight off. There goes the substitute vest. Jakira will come on.
So we've got the sub activated. Doc Higgins has put the red vest on pretty quickly. What do you think?
Yeah, Brian, he's obviously going to be out for the rest of the game, clearly, and he's sitting in the back row, and they'll obviously sort him out. Hamstring there. Lingy, do you think a hamstring?
Oh, what a tap that was by Minson. Sorry there, BT.
Boydie goes inside, an opportunity. Watson marks, defensive end.
No, but you're right. It looked like a hamstring, and Shawnee Higgins would be very disappointed with that. Good to see Nathan Jakura get the run. He spent a few years at Geelong and is a really explosive player. I'm keen to see him go all right tonight.
Clear hamstring there for Shawnee Higgins. Seen it on the replay, and he is out of the game, so Jakira has been activated as a sub. Now Scotland goes long and deep. Betts! Great mark in the air by Howard.
That was a terrific mark. Andy Collins is really providing a target up there. He's moving around, getting involved in a lot of play. The Blues are up and running a lot more this quarter. 14 uncontested possessions to 5, and that's the area that let them down in the first half.
Griffin backwards. Now Lake able to run. Collins with the last 2. The Blues with the last 3 goals of the game has closed the gap.
It's a brilliant kick from Lake and a good searching lead from Ace Cordy.
Kick needs to be good, a little heavy on the kick there. Dygan just with the one hand, the other one hand says, get out of the way, Jakira. Bit of a don't argue that didn't really connect.
Ace Cordy's really improving every week you see him play.
Yeah, Richard, I love the way he presents up and really battles for front spot. I haven't seen a lot of Ace Cordy play, but I've liked what I've seen tonight. He's really had a crack.
I know the Bulldogs boys think that exactly what you said then, Lingy. He gets in front, he works for front positions, so they know where the ball's going to fall if he doesn't mark it.
Griffin into Cordy, couldn't quite get the second grab at it. Jakira works his way to the front. Gee, almost got one. Dygan was all over him. Now they trap it in, and now the umpire's got a decision to make.
Because when he goes for a mark, he's such a big boy that defenders generally don't get a big punch away, so it falls pretty close to the contest, which is predictable for the crumbing players.
Dalhouse, brilliant smother, gets a second go at it. Dalhouse, and a good bounce. A good hold by Tom Williams on the Shepherd as well. Dalhouse gets his third goal.
What about the recovery there? He had it smothered and it bounced up quicker than anyone that hadn't gone to ground. Exciting player, Dalhouse. Look at the recovery here at Dalhouse. The smother, he bounced to his feet and lost no ground and got the footy and boot to ball. Incredibly athletic performance, that one.
3 goals, well done. Good hold by Tom Williams. Good shepherd it was. Over the middle, Howard. Beautiful hands by Russell to Garlett. Trying to squeeze through a wafer-thin gap there. And McLean almost gave it to Dygan. Need to get a crack along here, the Blues. They're down by 13. Yaron, basketball style with the one hook hand. Out of the air, kick off the side of the boot will go very, very wide indeed. Gee, the doctors, Richo, made a very, very quick decision on Higgins, didn't they? Bang, they knew straight away.
Yeah, I think, well, Higgins knew as well, and he's had a hamstring issue before. He would have known that he'd done it straight away. A quick test, they would have known within 20 seconds of being down the race, and the test would have been done, and straight out went Shaun Higgins. Disappointing for him.
Backup players here fighting for the ball. Scotland near the boundary line, kept it alive nicely. Good centering kick as well. Got a hand there, Jakira. Nicely done. Griffin and Shakira combining. McInnes wearing Jakira like a glove.
Ryan, pin to him, no chance. Thanks, Nathan. Run, boy.
So frustrating hamstrings. They just come from nowhere. You're feeling $1 million and then bang.
The big fella, Bell, around the body, did well cross. Collins to Jordan Russell, centering ball, touched off the boot, play on, so no mark to Lake. Had to move and he moved quickly, but gave it straight back to the Blues. So they're starting to apply the screws here now, Carlton, to pressure the Dogs into a mistake, and Russell will get a look from a difficult angle. Sideways the ball to Scotland. No one comes at him. Tries to find Curnow inboard. No good. Look at this. Lots and lots of space for the Dogs. Tom Williams stuck it up for the fleet-footed Grant, who took the mark. There's no one inside 50, so he has to wait. Handball off to Howard, and that is a kick. If he gets it over the top, that was magnificent, but just didn't quite get the journey.
Good transition play. Great kick by Tom Williams. He just put it out in front of Jared Grant, who showed great pace to run onto the ball. The tweet from Simon B. He says, I feel sorry for Higgins, as unlucky as they come.
Oh, they're out everywhere here, the Blues, BT.
They are. Bauer's got a really good look down the field. They'll chisel the ball to him. He's got Eddie in the square, but don't do it. He'll go for goal instead, and he does. Carlton get it back to 8 points.
A little nervous moment there for Paul Bauer. Actually played it pretty well to force Paul Bauer to kick that goal, but they really got burnt on the turnover, the Bulldogs, from the fullback kick in. They just went over to get organised, and you can see here they had the overlap runner. They were clever enough to get it, and smart by Murphy. You make the defender kick the goal, but really got exposed there.
Yeah, they just could not get any set up on their point kick in, and it went from one end to the other. Here's Higgins again with his hamstring. Bang, there it went there, and he knew straight away. Yep. And that'll be probably 3 or 4 weeks for him.
Bad luck from him, because, as Dars pointed out, really starting to find some form in the last couple of weeks, Higgins. Wallace out of the middle. Up to Gian Siracusa. McLean through a bit of traffic. Picken wraps him up in the tackle. 2 of the hardest nuts in the business, Picken and McLean there.
A clever tackle from Liam Picken there, not to take him high. Was able to wrap him up and avoid head-high contact.
The way that umpire gets on with the game. Shane Stewart just bounced it before they barely got up. Well done, umpire. Dalhouse, Scotland, Armfield all combining. Now McLean, he's decided to switch play, and Watson's the left footer, remember. Not the required journey, said the umpire. So Jamison forced to go. The bounce needs to be good for McLean. Coughed it up in the Collins direction. Got rid of Jakira. I reckon could have been a little bit harder there. Russell, stretching mark. The run of Yaz. Look at the machine. Tucks it under the arm. A little sideways ball. Magnificent. Carazzo will finish. They're within 2. He's a machine, Yaron.
Well called, BT. He is a machine. Chris Yaron, that is just a man with extreme pace, and he knows how to use it. Ran his full measure, got a couple of bounces in, and then didn't blaze away. He had Carazzo running in front of him, probably within his rights to almost run through 50 and have a shot at goal, but spotted Carazzo, gave it to Andrew, and that's 2 great transition goals this quarter from the Blues.
Oh, Carazzo, the finisher, but have a look at this. Just scintillating, running and carrying the ball ability, the poise in the end to... He was just forced off his main boot, had to kick it sideways a little. Chris Yaron, what a start. Boy, the 2 boys out of the same street, he and Nat Nui, how good are they going? Here's Garland. Let it rip from a long way out, and that's just offline. So within 2, now within 1.
All of a sudden, it's the Western Bulldogs who are facing an onslaught here. All the momentum Carlton's way. They need to get the footy in some of their experienced players' hands. Murphy, Gilby, Blake in the defensive area. Griffin has been good, but just having a little quiet patch. They've got to get the footy in players like Daniel Cross's hands as well.
So Cross had to be good then, and he was. He was brave. He doesn't like to kick it a lot, Cross. He much prefers that style of disposal. Understands his limitations. Here's Wallace to Dalhouse. On the other hand, this man can kick it. Look at that on the left. To Griffin. He can turn around and set sail from home. From 52 out, he only went half at it.
That little step that Luke Dalhouse has got is as good as any player in the game. If he was playing rugby league, he would be scoring tries regularly. He just gets the defender going the wrong way. Gets himself out of trouble.
And how good was the kick too on his left foot to find Griffin? Just couldn't finish the job with a goal.
Good game of footy here at the moment. McLean with that turnover to Lake made it difficult for Russell.
It's really opened up.
Yeah, Carlton have done well since half-time, Richo, as they've taken Lake out of the game. We haven't seen him in the loose man role as much as he was in the first half.
4 goals to 1 so far in this quarter, the Blues. Been easily their best, dominated.
Well, it's a reversal of what we saw in the first half. They're using the ball a lot better, and all of a sudden they're getting out into space.
Vest Premi to Picken. Murphy did really well to bring that to ground. Scotland over the top. Somehow he got away with it. Look at the tackle by Picken. He's an angry, aggressive player, Picken, isn't he?
Taking an attempt.
You've got to like it. He's so fair the way that he does it.
Gives absolutely everything. Every time he plays, Picken.
Never complains when he cops one back as well. He just gets on with the job.
Be one of the first picked, I reckon, out at the Bulldogs. And know what they're going to get from him. Coaches love to know what each player's going to give each week, and he does the same thing week after week, Picken.
Boyd, Carazzo.
It's a good discussion you have there, Richo. I think if you ask for equality at the selection table you want, it's exactly what you just said. You can't have players that are a 4 out of 10 one week and a 9 the next. You just got to get your hard, even contributors, and that's what Pickett does.
Doc Larkins has spoken to Gary Zimmerman, the doctor down at the Bulldogs, about Higgins. What did you find out, Doc?
Yeah, they've got the big compression ice pack on the right hamstring with the pump, the game ready it's called, Brian, so they usually do that when they're expecting bleeding. It's going to be a pretty serious right hamstring.
So in terms of week, I think he has a history, does he, Doc?
Yeah, he does. He's had groin problems throughout 2011, Brian, off the back of other injuries and a hepatitis, which also gave him chronic fatigue. So the right hamstring he hasn't had in the recent years, though.
Howard, as White looking for not finding G in Syracuse. Hard-nosed Scotland over the ball. Carazzo got a bit of a high run from Dalhouse.
Yeah. Stay there, thanks, Luke.
Some really great competitors in this game. You look at Dalhouse and Carazzo and Picken and McLean and these guys that just love the contested ball.
Heart and soul type of players, all the previous mentioned names that you jotted out there, BT, the guys you love playing with.
Watson backwards, just releasing a bit of time for Murphy, but he didn't make the most of it. And just a little off on the skill. It is just his second game back, so we've got to cut him some slack.
Right there, Jordan.
Lake.
Right there. Play on. Play on.
Far off entering red time here in the third quarter.
George.
You're spot on, Richo. It is the reverse of what we saw in the first half. The Bulldogs have turned it over again. They just can't get through half forward.
Now, what does Eddie do? There's no one inside 50. Handball's back to Russell. Now Eddie's gone inside 50. Bauer goes wide where he waits for a blue to get forward. Gibbs really did well on that occasion. Tutt to just hold him up for that split second so he couldn't go.
Only second disposal this quarter, Gibbs.
Inside 50. Betts just going to work there. And Brett Ratton getting involved in the game. Andrew McKay sitting along his right-hand side. The manager of the footy department down there, the boss. Minson did well extracting that out of the ruck, and Gian Siracusa went at it. Dygan wrapped him up. Dalhouse put his nose in front of Watson there, but no clear winner here just yet. The rucking, moving maul, Union style here. Well done, Daniel Gian Siracusa. Long name. Minson.
Coming up the footy there is the first gamer, Tommy Bell, who we have really enjoyed tonight. 95-kilo midfielder and elite runner. Jake Burgo, 24, has tweeted in and said, superstar Tommy Bell, he's the next Cooter.
Really?
Might have gone a little early there, Jake Burgo, but...
Oh, head high tackle here against Picken. He says he ducked the ball, but it doesn't matter. You still must tackle them correctly if they've got their head over it. High ball, big lead, couldn't get it done. Casbolt, boy, he launched though, didn't he, the big boy? And have a look at that, the head duck again. Now, the head's down, he keeps it down. Now, I know that's effectively he's keeping the head down, but you've still got to tackle correctly. Darsh, you disagree?
Well, I think he's got, I'm going to probably sound a little bit biased there, but I think he's got a reasonable case. Ducking the head means that you actually give away the opportunity to be given the benefit of the doubt in terms of head-eye contact.
I'm happy to be beaten on it, Darsh. You're convincing me.
You very rarely concede, Bristol.
Yeah, just thought I'd let you go with that one. Here's Pearce from half-back. Dygan, Williams at the back. McInnes trying to clear a path for Dygan. Now it's 3-on-1. Scotland, really good handball. McInnes, Curnow, Joseph can go wider if he wants. Finds Yaron. Does he take on Jakira? Jakira got a piece of the ball. Otherwise, he was away again. Look at this. Yaron. He's got some party tricks tonight. Here he goes again as he winds up with a penetrating run down the middle. This time the Dogs will get back across half-back. Good handball under enormous pressure by Howard. Cross. Great kick around the corner. Jakira. Sensational grab.
That was a good kick for Daniel Cross.
Game's turning into a cracker here. 2-point ball game as we enter the deep part of the third. Mitchie Wallace.
They need to find a mark 65 to 70 out. They just can't seem to get through this area.
Murphy thought about the long option, Minson.
Watson's down the line. That's why he can't go there.
And there he is, Richo. You're quite right. Just drop it in the hole.
Yeah, Brendan McCartney giving some instructions there. They are just breaking down horribly. It's been their problem all year, getting through 50. They gain enough possession. Their forward structure, it worked pretty effectively in the first half, but they've been able to just get the right numbers back, Carlton.
Scotland. Great crab Lake against Russell. On the Doug Hawkins wing out there.
The tactic that Richo touched on about Carlton having their man back, it's what's caused Carlton, Bulldogs to go slow here, but it's exactly what's causing Carlton to go slow when they've got the footy, except when Chris Yaron gets it, of course. But Dogs are allowed to have their number back. It means a lot of this chipping, keeping possession, patient footy. Both teams can't go direct and forward with the ball because of the loose numbers behind the play.
Brendan McCartney would be happier with this play right here, I think. A bit more control, as you say, Lingy, not just falling into the trap of kicking to the extra man.
They just need to try and man everyone up. Now Carlton, they've turned it over.
They have. McInnes not sure what to do with it. In the end, just kick it long because there's an option down there called Thornton. This to put Carlton in front.
And if you're going to go patient like that and chip the ball back and forth, you cannot turn the footy over, otherwise you're completely open. And a shot at goal now for Carlton on the back of it.
For the first time in the game, Carlton a chance to put their noses in front.
It's uncharacteristic by Robert Murphy.
Scotland 8 disposals this quarter, been really good as well, involved in the start of this passage. Thornton arrives. It's only a kick of 25 metres and he steered it through, and for the first time in the game with 3:50 in the third remaining, the Blues are in front.
As you said, Robert Murphy, arguably their most skillful player, and he missed the 20-metre target. We very rarely see that, and they paid the ultimate penalty.
Oh boy, some disappointed Dog fans as their noses for the first time in the game are behind the Blues by 4 points.
Some fairly flat looks on faces there in the cheer squad for the Bulldogs. It's been a tough year. They got an opportunity to win one. They've got to show some resilience here.
Definitely not overdast this one. So hang in there, Dog fans.
Russell's been good this quarter at half forward. He's given them something.
McLean under pressure, inching it towards Jamison. Williams did well to cut her off, and this decision's important. Minson to Wallace. Wallace backward, searching for some time and space. He found it for Vespremi. Backward of the centre circle. Long ball. Grant over the top. Claudie. Grant to recover. Soccer missed. And a behind in the end.
She did some good body work there, Jared Grant, and got his hands to the footy and just couldn't quite hold on to it. What do you reckon, Darce? If they lose tonight, is it over for the Blues?
I think it is, Richo. I don't think that there is any life left with the injuries that they've got, the Blues, so they are effectively playing for their season tonight. I know that the Bulldogs are well out of contention. If they are to find something, they have to get home.
Jamison. Long ball down the line. Setting himself the first gamer in Casbolt. Gilby, have a look for that, a kick. Left foot around the corner. Lindsay no more than 600 mil off the deck. Amazing.
Well, he's been one of the best kicks in the comp for at least the last 10 years.
He's an artiste with that foot, Richo, no doubt.
Certainly is.
Joseph pursued by Jakira, the sub-activated. That's why Jakira is on. Higgins off for the hamstring. Yaron went and got it. Did he dispose of it? I don't think so. Tommy Williams has got himself a kick. But this is from the left to right slider pocket here.
Don't worry about it. That's fine.
A little bit of byplay there. Ryan Griffin just saying to Chris Sharon, didn't you just get caught? I think you might have got caught, Chris.
Bit of chicken wing tackle about that.
See, there was a tiny bit there.
Oh. Now, this kick is a really difficult one, Darce, because if you kick it as normal, it's a courageous player that aims at the left goalpost from this position where it needs to be.
I think this is Stevie J territory. Now you go around the corner.
Would you go round here? Yeah.
Yeah, I think you would, Richard.
Right footer. Get a little closer to the mark, step out.
Tom Williams won't, though.
No.
Not in his repertoire.
I reckon he'll kick it.
Tough kick. Only 25 to 30 metres out. Important one for the Dogs, obviously. There it is, just slides across the face.
Every time.
Yeah, it's just, well, we've been saying it for a long time, Richo.
Well, it's the gates up behind the goals there. You do get a little bit of breeze coming through under there.
The president, Mr. Stephen Kernan.
Big sticks.
One of the greatest blue captains and players of all time.
Big sticks would have liked that KFC that you had here earlier tonight.
Oh, yeah.
BT, he loves his KFC sticks.
KFC and Carlton draft man, isn't he?
Yeah, the Crown Lager.
So a minute 32 remaining in the quarter. Carlton by 2 points, and the Dogs fighting on here in the latter stages of this third. Pickin inside. Oh, nicely done by Ace Cordy at the back for Gian Siracusa. That was really well cleared.
I'm glad you picked up on that, BT. That was fantastic. Just really clever play there by Ace Cordy. As you see, Pickens' free kick there, definitely too high, that one.
Well, you see Gian Siracusa here, BT, get out, and he's a great double leader, G. It's been one of his strengths. He's not quick, but he works so hard. He had a second turnaround and was able to lose his defender, and as you said, got a great shepherd as well.
Bit of a natural hooker of the ball, Gia, so he could be against the flow here. But remember, left to right slider from here, Richo.
Righto, let's see what it does, BT.
Daniel Gian Siracusa, and just went the other way that time.
Did he slide?
Well, he's a hooker.
Yeah.
A natural hooker, so he's hooking against the slide.
What are you on about here?
You are starting to confuse yourself.
Oh, no. There's
He
Brett Ratton.
started in the exact spot you wanted him to. It didn't slide at all.
Shut up, you blokes. Gibbs.
If you talk enough, you could make people believe anything, Bristle.
40 seconds on the clock. Carlton have got time. McInnes with a lovely mark. Carlton by a point as we go into three-quarter time. Less than a minute. Over the back. Casbolt needs to keep it rolling if he can. Free kick, Dogs. Best Premier.
As Brett Ratton gets down to the coach's bench on the ground and decides to get involved. Hey, don't worry about the importance of this game. Stick with us because there's a huge amount. Brett Ratton, they were aiming for top four. They've had a lot of reasons as to why, but they have got a huge opportunity tonight. They need to win to keep their chances alive.
Well, what a quarter of football. Carlton have come back. Ratton's happy. A 5-goal to 1 quarter, and there's 50 metres here. There's a 50-metre penalty after the siren. And this will mean the Dogs will get a kick from 20 out. Boy, oh boy, wowee, look at this. Against Jordan Russell. Push after he took the mark, says the umpire.
No.
That is tough.
That's not on.
I felt like that was exactly at the time that the free kick was there. Should have been a free kick, but not a 50.
But to Tut's credit, he led 50 metres across the ground to make that mark on the siren. His work rate got him the mark and he gets it free.
Tut to put the Dogs in front. 35 metres out, there's the angle. This is going to lift the Dogs. Look at them come from everywhere. They love it. Tut has kicked his first goal in footy this year. And it was really nicely done. The Dogs by 5 points. 10-9-69 lead the Blues 10-4-64. The three-quarter time siren. That was the 50 from Jordan Russell, and I reckon that's tough. You're allowed to give away a free kick in the moment of marking. That's all he did in my book, give away a free.
Spot on, BT. That is not a 50-metre penalty. Pushed him as the ball hit him in the hands. That's a free kick, yes, but not 50-metre penalty.
He's giving him the double whammy there. Anyway, at three-quarter time, cracking game. Dogs by 5 points, Stars.
Yeah, massive final quarter coming up for the Carlton Football Club. Huge expectations about this year. Have a look what they've got to come. Richmond at home. Sydney at home is going to be very tough. The Brisbane Lions and then Essendon back here at Etihad Stadium. So there's some games they can win there, but tonight is super important.
Fraser Dale in his first game, the sub for the Blues. Casper, they call him.
We didn't get a lot of notice about his first game, Bristol, because he's a late inclusion.
Well, he's a boy out of Assumption College via East Keilor College. He, as a rookie, he's one of the fun guys of the club. You can see Doc Larkin sitting directly behind him there. A lovely guy, and he's deserved his opportunity. He's worked hard.
Look at the Doc there.
Oh, yeah.
Very smooth operator, the Doc.
Oh, isn't he?
Doc, just remind us for those that have just joined us, the Higgins injury.
Yeah, important correction, Brian. He had thyroiditis, not hepatitis, so he had a hamstring injury in 2010 and a big right hamstring injury tonight in 2012. Probably a month, I reckon, for Higgins.
Got amongst the itises there, Das, as here you go. It sounds like he's had them all, shingles and the lot. Free kick will go against Brian Lake. Let's listen.
Marking infringement. Marking contest infringement, Brian. to stay there. Don't play, Chris.
Oh, you don't like umpires that won't look you in the eye either. Have a look at those eyes from Thornton. And he's refusing to engage Shane Stewart. Thornton comes in and hammers that home. That is a ripping kick from Thornton. And the Blues back in front by a point.
Arguing the point there, Brian Lake, saying you called it an arm chop, I didn't get near his arms. Well, let's have a look again. You never get them reversed. What he has is a push in the back. That's a free kick, Brian. And a good start for the Blues. They get back in front inside the first 40 seconds of the final term.
And it was good to see Mark Murphy, after Brett Ratton addressed the group at three-quarter time, Murphy called the group in, really got into him. He knows how important this game is for Carlton's finals hopes. Great start to the quarter for the Blues.
So Brian Lake, try and get a shot of that. He's got the grippo just down on the lower part of his left thigh on the shorts there. You can't quite see it from the other side. Just some added grippo there to carry with him.
Been part of his makeup since day one. Favours that. Not many do these days.
It's a fine line how much grippo you put on.
You can over-grippo.
You can over-grip. Don't worry about that.
Oh boy, here's a 1-point lead for the Blues.
If you over-grip, it can affect your ball drop when you're kicking, and wouldn't want that to happen.
You and I played with someone who used the grip. There it is on Lakey's shorts there. Who used the grip solely to adjust his hair. Had nothing to do with holding the footy.
Kick inside 50. Scotland. I'm going to get the name of that person shortly. If I
no
can.
names. Nathan Brown.
Jakira McLean cracks in.
The only problem with Brownie with the grip on his hands, when he rubbed it through his hair, a fair bit of hair came out with it too, dust.
Which he hasn't got back.
Oh, it's just starting to leave him, isn't it?
Oh boy, Brownie grippo. Oh, look at the Collins. Spinning pirouette out of trouble, magnificent. He's played a cracking game tonight. Kick to Dygan is inch perfect as well. Dygan couldn't quite control it.
Boys, there must be something in that grippo. You mentioned before a bloke who's as good a mark as Brian Lake's Matty Scarlett. He's another one who used to cake the grippo on the shorts, on the jumper. Always had plenty of spare for the hands.
Wasn't a grippo man myself, relied on natural ability. Here's Cross, got it off to Dalhouse. Dalhouse around the corner with a left footer. The little man's got it again. He's kicked 4 tonight.
Well, we said goals are going to have to come through the regular sources, and that is Luke Dalhouse, and good return, 4 goals. They going to need a bit of an even spread tonight. And the small forward setup is going to be the option for the Bulldogs. Tommy Williams is the key marking option. Well played by that man.
So sub for the Blues. Let's get down to Lingy.
Yes, Dennis Armfield's the man who's been subbed off, and the first game, a young Fraser Dale has got his opportunity to play some AFL footy. Good on him.
So Fraser Dale in the thick of it. McLean out of the middle, need a clearance. Dogs by 5 points. Murphy crashing through. Cross got him in a ripping tackle. He was able to possess the ball though and get rid of it. Big Casbolt had trouble picking it up. Now fires it to Scotland, and Scotland wide. Dygan gives chase. Little left foot kick. McGuinness came from too far back, and Gilby nice in front.
It's been something that Lindsay Gilby has done really well right throughout his career. He'll read the play, he'll take front position, go for his marks.
Kick down the line, looking for the safety of the boundary line with Cordy and Watson, and did it nicely.
Do you think he'll go on next year, Gilb Stars?
Be doubtful. He's, look, I suppose playing for his career now in these last few games, and his form's actually been good coming off a long-term injury.
He's looking better tonight, isn't he? He's gradually getting some form back.
Definitely depended on the latter half of this year, I reckon. Oh, look at that. Was it too high?
Holding the footy.
Holding the footy, says the umpire.
With that leg speed, that has got to be something that Jared Grant does all the time, forward pressure.
Vest Premi looking for Williams on the lead. Off hands Griffin. Was he retarded? Bauer. Curnow. Beautiful handball under enormous pressure. Watching a little chipper. Gee, that's dangerous, but Collins does not let him down.
Gee, needed to mark. Great hands there from Andy Collins.
Collins saying, why wasn't that 50? When the one before the siren was. Here's Watson. Left foot helicopter. Up goes Casbolt. Big mark.
a good name, Levi Casbolt.
And look at the damage he's left on the ground as well. Casbolt, long and deep. And there's an infringement against Picken on Murphy, and Murphy's ball now. Lindsay Gilby is in space at the moment. Gary Zimmerman, the doctor, attending to him, but I reckon he got a knee in the back of the head. Murphy gets it over the top. Here's Gibbs. Gilby comes from the ground, and Gibbs gets a look from 25.
Yeah, he drifted down the fat side of the ground, Bryce Gibbs, and that was an outstanding kick from Murphy. We have a look at
knee to the side of the head.
Yeah, that wouldn't have tickled. Gibbs is in a bit of in the strife down there.
Right in the temple there.
This kick, though, BT, was magnificent. Great mark too, protected.
Great kick, and Gary Zimmerman in the safe hands of the medical staff at the Dogs, one of the best staff in the business. Gibbs to put the Blues up by a point. There's the task. Gibbs has got it. Carlton by a point.
Hasn't had a huge night, Bryce Gibbs, only 13 possessions, but drifted down from half back, down the fat side of the ground, and it was a great kick, as we just said, from Mark Murphy to find him, but that's what you've got to do. If you're a half back, you do need to still drift down and offer yourself inside forward 50 every now and then.
Don't want to make light of a concussion situation, BT, but Lindsay Gilby, one of the few people that failed the concussion test before he was concussed. So they'll be confused down there. Even on his best day, he's spaced out, Linz.
I'm going to dock at the moment and find out whether that is a concussion or whether that's a stunner. And a free kick in the middle goes against Liberatore for some reason. I'm stunned by that. Here's McLean.
Gilbs asked where the stalled gift was run.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Yaron to Murphy. Murphy marks. Little one over the top from Murphy. This time cut off. Well done by the Dogs here on this occasion. And Boyd ran into trouble on that occasion. Did the big boy Austin. Now Tutt at ground level. He's caught in the tackle as well by Carazzo. Let's go to Doc and find out about Lindsay Gilby. What do you reckon, Doc?
Oh, he's coming good, Brian. He hasn't needed a full concussion test because Gary Zimmerman's had a good chat with him. He's running up and down the boundary at the present time, Gilby, and that'll get back to us. Don't you worry about that comment.
So even though he was obviously seeing stars, Doc, you don't put that down as a concussion?
No, he didn't develop concussion, but he had that very temporary event, which we haven't got a good medical name for yet, Brian.
Okay. And there he is, up and about as this game is turning into a thriller. Lindsay Gilby, the boys up here with me being very unfair to him. Big mark, Casbolt. What about this guy?
He's shown plenty tonight, Levi.
Handball off to McLean. There's no fuss about him either. A long ball. Murphy got both hands on it. Now under enormous pressure is Cross. Found a hole through. Picken. Wallace. Back to Picken. Careful little kick, but guess what? It wasn't good enough. And now McLean to Scotland. Murphy's underneath. Both Murphys were there. Off hands, Betts from the boundary. Got it bending. Unbelievable, Eddie. Yes, you are very, very good. Eddie Betts with a little curler along the deck.
He was always going to kick that, Eddie. You just knew as soon as he picked it up, and Robert Murphy went to kill the ball, didn't get enough of it. You can see the horror look on Murphy's face. That's your nightmare. You leave him with the footy. Incredible skill. Always going to do it.
You're right. Everyone on the ground, when he got the ball there, was thinking this will be the goal. He's so good at that.
That there, you look at that in slow motion, you see the grip on the ball and how it turns. Players practice that all the time.
Yeah.
And work out what they can do with the ball along the deck. That is just a remarkable goal of the year contender from Eddie. What a time. Blues by 7 points. Liberatore with an important clearance. Over the back to Jan Siracusa. Daigan first to the ball. What a great tackle by Gia. Comes up with the ball as well.
Yeah, rubbed salt into the wounds for Bob Murphy. He didn't kill the ball out of bounds, and his direct opponent kicks the goal.
Arms up, guys. Let him run.
Bell getting pushed out of the way. There's Wallace, helped it on its way. Attacking the ball was Cordy. Watson concedes. Another boy out of the Calder Cannons footy factory.
Powerful kick when he loads up.
He is. Lovely left foot kick.
Oh,
Yaron! Classic little hang. And now the run to go with the mark. Look at this. He says you're cross, but from behind, a ripping tackle by Tut. Boy, he thought he was out and clear, Yaron.
And he looked at Brock McLean and sort of motioned. You didn't tell me. There was no voice there, he was saying, Chris Yaron.
He came from nowhere. Gian Siracusa, Dalhouse, Cordy. Forwards are really clean at the ground level and deliberately concedes now. That's going to go against him. That's going to go against him. Oh, boy. Wowee. Deliberate behind.
haven't seen one of these paid BT for a long time. Let's have a listen to the umpire.
That's fair, fine. Luke, right on the boundary. You've got to be light, no, level with the post. That's it. Wait, yeah, wait. Wait for my call. Wait for my call.
Dalhouse
Play on.
for his 5th goal. Around the corner, we've got a ground invader on the ground as well. And that's a goal. Dalhouse has kicked 5. It's all happening. Scores a level. Unbelievable happenings. And I reckon it hit the post.
Well, that has definitely hit the post, that one.
Now, let's listen. Let's listen to the umpires. Bryce Gibbs says it hit the post.
Boundary umpire thinks it may have hit the post. You believe it's a goal? Okay, so we'll go for the video review. Boundary umpire believes the ball may have hit the post.
Well, that will not be ruled a goal. They'll only need to look at one angle, and that's that angle.
Yeah, pretty obvious there. Not sure how the goal umpire didn't see it.
So let's listen. This will be a quick decision, I think.
Correct, yep.
So there it is, clearly ricocheting off the post.
Yep. Confirm the ball hit the post. Okay.
There it is.
Okay, annul the score, please. Annul the score. All clear.
So annul the score is the direction. Great use of the score review system in a tight game.
Do you reckon someone upstairs said that hit the post, or did the boundary umpire say it? Because he didn't say it straight away. I reckon someone upstairs
told him. And the goal umpire, these field umpires were going back to the middle.
Yeah, I'm with you, Richo, and I'm glad if they have. I'm not sure that that is the system that applies, but the boundary umpire had the opportunity to go to the goal umpire initially. Right decision has been paid, and that's what counts.
So back in the middle of it here. Brock McLean spinning out of trouble. Little ball to Murphy. Murphy wanting to get it back, taking his time here. Nice kick in the middle to Minson. Minson to Wallace. Cross. The build-up is good from the Dogs. Griffin able to run. Took a bounce. Long kick. Here they come. Lake. Couldn't hold the mark. Joseph coughed it up. Lurking Grant. Need one out the back. We'll have a ball up here.
Yeah, Brian Lake pushing hard from full back all the way to centre forward. Capable of taking a big contested mark. The Bulldogs have been doing all the attacking, you can see here. 64% in their forward half. An opportunity now deep inside just to keep applying that pressure, but they need a goal. There's a reward for this dominance.
Back here, an opportunity for the Dogs, just finding out what happened on that score review system. And I think you're probably right, Richo. We are hearing that the umpire's advisor here told them to review that score, which is right if it gets it right.
But is that what the system was? I'm not sure it is.
Well, in the end, all I care about is getting it right.
It is right. You're not wrong there, but I didn't know they were allowed to radio down from upstairs.
Watson, well, we saw all the umpires on their way back to the middle. Gian Siracusa caught in a great tackle. Carlton by 5 points here. Kick out of the pack, just misses. Let's have a listen to this.
Boundary umpire thinks it may have hit the post. You believe it's a goal? Okay, so we'll go for the video review. Boundary umpire believes.
So that's right. So the boundary umpire went to the field umpires as they were going back to the middle of the ground and said, I think it's hit the post.
Right.
So correct call. Great tackle from the Dogs. Boy, this game's got some turns and twists in it. 11 minutes remaining in it. Collins pushed under the ball. Vespremi claims the mark and he's got it.
Play on. Play on!
Austin. Across the ground to Lake or Jakira, whoever wants it.
Play on off your line.
Lake demanding the ball wide. Jakira presenting it wide.
It's been good from Brian Lake. He's pushed forward in the last couple of minutes.
Lake down the line looking for Williams. Jamison was there to make him earn it. Williams at ground level to cross. Little handball, deliberate. Torre took him on. Couldn't get around. Now Griffin, inside out high ball. This will be played at a mark and an interference. Carlton's way. Good decision by umpire Stuart Wen.
Yeah, just slung him out of the contest as Tom Williams gets up a little bit sore.
So, Doc, do you think we'll see Gilby again today?
Yes, Brian, I do. Yep.
Okay, Cross now.
BT is back on the ground now. He's about to be involved in this play, so they've run him out there and see how he feels at the moment.
The Western Bulldogs runner. Andrew Collins, your kick. Collins.
The runner. This is a free kick against the Western Bulldogs runner here.
One of my former teammates there, Timmy Callan, one of the smartest blokes I've ever played with, but I don't think Macca would be wrapped with him there.
Straight up.
It is happening everywhere in this game at the moment. Everywhere you look, something's going on.
Yeah. Big Casbolt and Brian Lake having a wrestle.
Kick into Mitch Wallace.
Play on.
He sees Vest Premi, who can go over the top and find Jason Tart. That's a high ball. Gave Betts time to get to man him up on the mark. Tart.
Move it on. Play on.
Umpire says go. Now Griffin, that was not kicked to his advantage at all. Dygan with a little slap handball to Scotland, to Gibbs, and now Gibbs goes wide and finds Fraser Dale. Here he is, the boy they call Casper because his skin is so white. High ball, up they fly, over the top. Austin again, Murphy, good shepherd, allows Murphy to run. He took him on, got around another, that was Dale. Long ball, here's Watson, did he push in the back? Umpire said he used his body. Liberatore, under pressure. High ball, Dogs down, Syracuse. Dygan goes at it. Dogs down by 4. Scotland arrives.
Both players grabbed it.
Tough in there.
He almost marked that, Daniel Jan Syracuse. He used his body well. He protected the drop zone, but just couldn't quite get back onto the football.
8.5 to go. Minson, beautiful tap over the top. All Carlton. McLean to Curnow. He runs, couple of bounces. Will he go the third? He will. Now arriving is Howard. Drawing handball to McLean. Well thought through process. Garlett, who really has got some wheels. Here's Casbolt. Over his head, Eddie. Trapped. Left foot. Sold foot candy. Turns back on the right. Unbelievable, Eddie. Eddie got it into Gibbs, and Gibbs kicks the goal. Fantastic play. Carlton by 10. 8 minutes left.
Brilliant stuff here, Eddie Betts. Great call from BT, summed it up and was able to get back onto his right foot. Brett Ratton, he's feeling every bit of every play here at the moment. So much riding on it for Carlton. Little 10-point buffer here.
He's literally got a headache, Brett Ratton. Carlton have kicked 10 of the last 13 goals in this game. They've kicked the last 3 straight, and they've kicked 4 goals to 1 in this last quarter.
Fine, guys. Great contest.
Now, what have the Dogs got? They're 10 down, Richo, with 7:40 remaining.
Well, they've got to use the advantage that they should have with Minson in the ruck here. Got to win a couple of clean clearances.
24,615 here tonight. Dogs have to play really good footy from here on in.
He tried to go the high, wide punch to Ryan Griffin on the move then, Big Will.
Yeah, Richo, Will Minson, again, this second half has just dominated the hit-outs, but Carlton have read it so well. They're the ones who are actually getting the effective clearances on the back of Will Minson's ruck work. It's good play by the Blues.
Haven't won since round 12, the Dogs. The Blues just one win in the last 6 weeks. That was against Collingwood. Now McLean, he's got Yaron outside, back inside, intercepted by Griffin. Wasn't probably a great decision. Safety of the boundary, always the better way to go there.
Well done, boys.
Dogs fans
Thumbs up.
a little nervous at this stage.
Play on.
Need to score as quick as they can so that clock doesn't become a factor. And then they're not forced to do things and take risks they don't want to. Murphy. Just a nice little present-up kick to Eddie Betts.
Starting to exit defence, Carlton, without a lot of pressure applied, and it's a dangerous sign.
McInnes takes the mark for Carlton, maybe just out of his range.
No, it's over here, please.
So Andrew McInnes
Thanks, Lynn.
hasn't kicked the goal in his very short career. This would be a real nice one. That's high. A lot of altitude there, but not a lot of length as Blake double fists it to the boundary.
Tied to at the moment, the Bulldogs. It was a slow play. They didn't get a lot of numbers back, and you can just see the space inside 50, and with Betts Garlett around, that is dangerous.
Russell. Gilby with the intercept. Handball, I think we'll ball it up again here, so just a bit of a lull at the moment. Some time coming off the clock here for the Blues.
It's going to be tough for Doggies to move it forward. The Blues have got Jamison sitting back on his own, 15 metres behind everyone else, so it's going to be hard for them.
The danger man, Eddie Betts. Murphy monitoring him very closely. Not 15, you heard the umpire. So he swings him to the ground. Was a little gentle on him there. McLean to Jamison. Watson a bit jittery with the handball. He wanted Yaron. He's got a powerful left boot. That's a great strike. Betts over the back. Couldn't quite get it there. Thornton, and now Minson involves the bulk of his body.
Straight up, boys. Thank you.
It's like they're just hanging on at the moment, the Bulldogs. There's players that are tired. They're not able to transition, run back to support. They get a few extra numbers around this one, but they just look like they're going to score here, the Blues.
Blues by 10.
Yeah.
They're looking menacing, aren't they?
All right, no Pryor making an attempt.
Heard the umpire, no Pryor making an attempt.
So this is what confronts the Western Bulldogs. You can see Jamison there, 20 metres behind, goalkeeping. We see Dustin Fletcher do that a lot. Matty Scarlett, pretty tough to get through that.
Great shot there from our cameras as Scarlett forces the behind.
One in, Brian. Right out, 5 metres, one in. Go.
And now shot down the ground of the pressure that's on the kickers from fullback. This is wide to Delhouse. Yaron in front. Did well. So 5:22, clock starting to become a factor now for the Dogs, down 11 points. Casbolt to Murphy. Murphy turns inside, looks for something sideways, nothing there, comes back to the safety of the boundary. Touched off the boot, umpire says play on, no mark paid. Carazzo to Collins. What does he do here?
It's the best game I've seen Andy Collins play. Definitely since he went to Carlton.
Had a good one last week as well. Collins now got a bit of a run at it, Eddie. Knocks down to Carazzo. A little too close. Here's Betts again on the left boot. Takes him on. How about that? How about that? Oh boy, Eddie. That is like shelling peas.
Well, he's been a match winner in this last quarter. Eddie Betts kicked that miraculous goal from the boundary over the other side, the dribbler. Then he set up Bryce Gibbs' second goal. And then that there is just all class on his left foot, running flat out towards the boundary line. Quality finish, highly skilled player.
We love having a player like this in your side. Had a quiet night, really, up until 2 brilliant goals in the last quarter. One of them will go close to being goal of the year, the dribbler along the boundary line, and that was very special indeed.
Picken to Griffin. They need really quick goals now. Griffin around the corner. Here comes Tom Williams. Little tap out to Grant, perhaps. Court gives it now. Grant, snap at goal. I think he's kicked it. I think he's got it. Let's have a look from the goal umpire. Yes, he has. Dogs not done with yet. Grant with his second goal for the Dogs and trims it back to 11. So at 4:16, still very much anyone's game.
Where he's coming off the ground. Jared Grant done a couple of nice things tonight. Hasn't had a lot of the ball.
He did well, Tom Williams, to hold the front position. Then when he had to, he found Grant. And there's a really good finish. So the Carlton box would be starting to think what Richmond didn't do last week about now.
Well, we know you can kick 2 goals in about 40 seconds, so 4 minutes is plenty of time.
It's a proven fact, isn't it?
Yeah.
Off hands, Joseph, tackled by Dalhouse. Yaron took him on. He's got some confidence. Joseph now, careful around the body. Really good kick to Thornton, who, by the way, has kicked some important goals here today.
Good move in the second half to really get Thornton to make Blake accountable. Bonus was a couple of goals, but Blake was looking like controlling the game really in the first part of the first half.
Cross, almost threw it out the back door. Murphy, got to be clean from here. Boyd sees something in the middle and Dalhouse made him earn it there. Joseph was nicely done. Yaron, precise to Garlett. Where's Eddie? I think he might be having a spell on the pine as the kick goes into Collins. Wanted to turn to the boundary. Now a high ball. Here comes the big fella, Casbolt.
Speaking to Chris Judd before the game, he said Casbolt's probably more of a centre-half forward. In a perfect world, he's been forced to play ruck, obviously, with the 3 big boys out for the Blues.
Born in Hobart, another Tasmanian Interwale game at Casbolt. He's got a great story. Cruciate ligament, Casbolt, earlier in the year, I think, after hyperextending his knee in a match against Coburg back in March. Came back against Frankston last week after 14 matches on the sidelines and was elevated to the senior list, and here he is playing a week later. Remarkable story. Has played 6 NAB Cup games as well, Casbolt.
Well, this footy from Tom Liberatore has got to go long and direct.
Need to start to think clock now, Darsh, you're right, with 2:30 remaining. Interception here by Howard. There's the long and direct part, but they got someone in a win position. Gian Siracusa won it to the ground, but no one there to assist, and now they need to possess ball, Carlton, and milk clock.
Well, the Blues have got what the Bulldogs had the first half, and the loose man being Yaron has really been able to set up so much play. Matty Boyd goes back and takes a good mark. Zach Tui, the Irishman, not playing tonight, just tweeted through and simply said, "Eddie Betts, you freak."
Absolutely.
I think they enjoy what Eddie can do, his teammates.
No limits to his ability. Eddie, he's just teasing us. Just having us on occasions, Eddie.
Probably a right person to have the ball here. He's Scotland. Experience, just slowed it down a bit.
Down the line, so the Dogs really need to get going. You can see Brendan McCartney bottom left there. They need a clean possession. Around the corner, good opportunity. Garlett, now he can milk the 30 seconds here that it takes to have a set shot, and that'll be a huge bonus.
That was great. Heath Scotland, he took as much time as he could to kick the ball. He then kicked it as long as he could, got a good contest from Casbolt, and that's ended up inside 50 for Garlett.
Jeffy's kicked a couple today and been one of his better games this year. Kick on the way, just across the face, won't be a goal, and now the Dogs get the ball back and stop the clock at 53 seconds. not beyond them. Really tough gig, though. It has to be perfect footy. Murphy realises that. Down the middle, finds Wallace. So there's the first part of perfect. Now Wallace goes down the middle. Look at this. A one-on-one battle with Jakira. Off hands, Williams. Jakira. Well done in the end, Bauer. McLean almost caught dead. Handball out. Gia caught. The tackling from Carlton. Superb here. Well done. And now the Gibbs kick wide to McInnes. And the boundary line will be an absolute blessing for the Blues.
I think another blessing as the clock winds down to 24 seconds. The Blues will get home. It was the fact that Bryce Gibbs, they released him from the tagging role on Griffin. He's been a pretty effective player since quarter time.
Absolutely. So the Blues are going to get home here. Yaron, Carazzo, and just a nice little Scotland attack to finish it off with under 10 seconds remaining. Carlton are going to win here today. And Fraser Dale is marked. And we'll get a look at his first goal just to top off the celebration for the Blues. There he is. Carlton players are wrapped. Haven't had a lot of wins in recent weeks. Their last being round 15 against the Pies. Fraser Dale coming in when Mitch Robinson was a late withdrawal tonight. Will kick after the siren from 40 out directly in front to give them a 3-goal win. Dale kicks his first goal in footy. They converge. They like it. Carlton fans ecstatic. Dogs fans not so. Great win for the Blues. Let's get down there to the man that just kicked that goal with Lingy.
Yes, the man of the moment. You were the late inclusion. Get to play in a great win and kick your first goal. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it was just great to get out there and be part of a team win. That was, we've been struggling a bit lately, but it was good to be out here and be part of a good win.
How was it being the sub in your first game? Were you just raring to get out there and play some footy?
Yeah, I was raring to get out there, and it took about 3/4, but once I got out there, it was really tough, and as I said, just good to be part of a win.
Oh, well, congratulations on your first game, and well done on the goal too. Go and enjoy yourself.
Fraser Dale there with Lingy, another boy out of Assumption College via Keilor College. After that, big win. There he is, Captain Security, getting the job done. You will not get past him. Look at him. 16-6, 102 the Blues to the Dogs, 12-12, 84.
This has been a Fox Footy presentation for Fox Sports.